join the Canary Cry new stock producers and make some refrigerator art for the show. Show your support with your talent at canarycry.party. Your mom will thank you.
Yo, you curious about blockchain technology? Your boys Basil and Gons at CCNT have gone full crypto bro. Tune in to your favorite Sigma males and discover the world of blah blah blockchain. Don't miss out, fam. Join the ride and level up your crypto game.
Investing in cryptocurrency involves significant risk and can result in substantial or complete loss of funds. The information provided by CCNT, Basil and Gons is for educational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. Always conduct your own research and consult with a professional financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
Razzle Dazzle, it's Body by Basil, the new exciting fitness craze that will get you Canary Cry swole in no time at all. Just listen to these quotes from our participants. My muscles are huge. It's all or Nephilim. You'll be an apocalypse warlord in no time. Don't wait. Order today and save 33% for just 4 easy payments of only $33.33. You too can have the body of a googly eye, VR headset wearing Nephilim warlord.
A new, raw deconstruction of news and analysis. Introducing Canary Cry New Stalk, the new intense fragrance made specifically for thinking outside the cage. From your favorite podcasters, Basil and Gons.
Gons, can you hear me? I'm hearing reports about a prototype flippy arm.
Don't tell me. Flippy is coming for our jobs.
That's right. You know what this means.
Yeah, it's wake-up time. Think outside the cage.
Hey everybody, you're here at the Canary Cry News Talk live stream pre-stream. We're just about to get the show started. We're so happy you're here. Boy, oh boy, things just keep on rolling, don't they? And I would like to invite you to join the Canary Cry text message alert system. That's right, we're used to it now. We're used to being put in a tiny room, being shadow banned, censored, is the whole thing. Even people who have notifications turned on, many of them still don't get alerted that the show is going live. Is the newsletter going into your spam folder? Perhaps. Is your social media not showing you our posts? Probably. Of course YouTube is not telling you we're going live. We don't even show up to many people who search for us. And that's why we have the Canary Cry text message alert system, which means we'll send out a text right before every show just to let you know we're getting started and how to watch. It's easy peasy. You can text me back as well, which is fun. We can't carry on a whole conversation because it's very expensive for us, but you can say hi. I see them. I read them all. Sometimes I read them here before the show. I'm going to do that in a second, but if you want to join the Canary Cry text message alert system, text the word Canary to 877-740-3226. That's Canary to 877-740-3226. Remember, you got to text Canary. If you text any other word, it's not going to get you on the list. It's a whole thing, I know. But I want to thank a few people who gave us some text messages. Let's see here. Pocojo texted last episode, says thank you, Pocojo. Got shout out to the Canary Cry supply drop for being based. Somebody texted, thank you. Yes, very based. If you go to canarycrysupply.com, not only are you producing the show, but you're getting some of the coolest merch that exists. We send it to you every quarter as a free gift. Somebody says, Basil, you're the best. Oh, I'm blushing. Thank you very much. Let's see here. Somebody says, hey, Basil, I have to catch a rerun later tonight. I hope you guys have a great show today. God bless. Monica M. Thank you very much, Monica M. That's a good way to save me the stress about whether I should decide whether or not to, identify these text messengers at all, just sign it with whatever name you'd like to be alerted by. Somebody texts, thank you for this. I got the alert. Thank you guys. Do great work. Keep it up. Thank you very much. It's always nice to know people get these alerts. Oh, and there he is again. There he is again. I'm driving with focus turned on. I'll see your message when I'm off the road. I'm not receiving notifications if this is urgent. Reply urgent to send notification through to your original message. Should we? Is this the day? Is this the day that we type urgent to make sure this particular person gets the text message? I don't know. One of these days. Somebody texted back just now, said, howdy, 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 howdy. All right, so remember, it's fun, folks. Get on the text message alert system. Text the word Canary to 877-740-3226. And while you're at it, go get on the newsletter, which you get a lot of resources sent straight to your inbox. You get our show notes, you get all the links, you get the art, you get a little devotional from me. It's a great time. Go to canarycry.party and click the button to join the newsletter. All right, we have a pre-show prayer and we'll get the show going.
Hello guys, this is Anthony H. Just want to say thank you. We love you, and just say a little prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you. We come to you humbly in Jesus' name. And I thank you, Father, for Basil and Gons, Lord, and all that they do, Lord, and helping them always, Father, to be strong. We just pray, Lord, that their show would go smoothly, Father. Help them with any, electronic stuff, Lord, with, links and downloads and stuff like that. And, we just ask that you would be with them, Father, always, Lord. And so blessings for all the producers, Lord, all those who need prayer. And again, Lord, we just thank you so much for Basil and Gons, and we just love them so much, Father. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. Amen. Hello, guys. This is Anthony H. Just want to say a little prayer and thank you, and we love you. Father, we thank you, and we come to you humbly in Jesus' name. And I thank you, Father, for the Canary Cry ministry and Basil and Gons, Lord, and all that they do, Father. We just pray you would be with them, Lord, always, Lord. Just blessing them spiritually, Lord, physically, financially, Lord. Be with their families and their homes, Lord, and just everything, Father. We pray for all the producers, Lord, as well as all those who need prayer. And, we just pray, Lord, that the show would go smoothly. There wouldn't be too many hiccups, Lord, even though, we just love how the show naturally plays out. But again, Lord, thank you that Basil and Gons are always bringing the truth. And I'm just so humbled and grateful and thankful for them, Father. And I ask you would just be with them always, Lord, in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gons as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is July 17th, 2024. We are live to tape on episode 758. And today, staged and engaged. Signing on from Off the Grid, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy, Basil. And you, friend, are not crazy.
And my name is Gons, director of the Age of Deceit films, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, live to tape from California to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And today's immersion phenomenon, we have now entered a aftermath stage of irrationality, Basil. Irrationality.
Hey, there it is. There it is. What a great opportunity this whole event has been for bringing back the dad jokes.
I didn't do it.
You didn't do it.
It's
The Lord did it.
He,
it's a gift from God.
He gave us this gift. So, yeah.
Yes. Well,
take it up with him.
His blessings are many and varied, and we appreciate that. Glad everybody's here. Here we are, just a few days after the initial reactions of the events in Pennsylvania on Saturday. I think our initial assessment was correct. Boy, oh boy, is this a content-generating machine. Of course, we're talking about the attempted assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump. We've reached this point in the process where the content generation seems to be the prime goal of a lot of of a lot of people online. The sort of the facts start to matter a little bit less and less as far as if we're talking on a broad scale. The theories start making less and less sense. But as long as there's something to post, we can keep that attention economy rolling. And guys, I feel ourselves moving. I feel the world moving into a sort of new era of the Overton window, a new era of dominating sort of mass appeal of principles and political leanings and popular ways of thinking. And I can already see it. It hit me hard this morning thinking, man, if we just had a second where our sort of angle on the world, on the Bible, on current events, on the news was sort of lined up to poise for some mega success. And yet now we're moving into an era where we once again must become the underdogs and try to talk some sense into people.
I like the role of underdog.
We have to. We couldn't do it any other way.
I think gives us a little bit of the chip on our shoulder to keep us kind of moving.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I don't want that spot. I don't want the Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson. That's not something we're seeking to do or want. So
who's got the time?
Who's got the time, the energy
for that?
And can you imagine the people in their ear all the time in terms of what to say, what to think? I don't think I can do it.
And you kind of notice when a personality gets to a certain level, and I don't know exactly what that level is, but we're seeing it on the left and the right online right now. But there is a level that you get to where I think it becomes so exhausting, and the pressure to analyze or make statements about every little thing, and the infinite amount of information coming at you from an infinite amount of sources from all directions, most of those sources being bad ones. It seems like kind of out of laziness, you just have to stop being super, what's the word? I don't know. Your filter. You got to open up the filter a little bit, or else it's just too much. It's just too exhausting. And I think we've seen this happen in phases forever, but I can kind of see it in their eyes. I can see it in their eyes. I can hear it in their voices. Certain level of sort of online alternative personality. They're just like, I don't know, man. I'm just gonna go and we'll see what happens here. You gotta take it for what it's worth.
I think we speak from experience when it comes, and maybe not to the scale that some of these people are experiencing it now. The louder voices in alt media and social media and all that. But I know I felt it a few years ago where it was like, oh my gosh, publishing these videos every day, and at a certain point you're like, okay, I've been hitting this certain point for a while. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I need to keep. I guess I need to keep doing that point, but for my own sanity, I'd like to move on to something different. And so I can understand that. But again, I feel blessed to be able to do what we do at the level we do. And what I think we try to represent, Basil, you and I, is what does the Holy Spirit lead us to cover? Because I think when we lean on our own understanding, we can go down rabbit trails, right? Follow the trends, all that, and it's hard not to talk about the big stories. Obviously, we're guilty of putting out content on the same topics from a lot of the same sources and things like that. So I know people might think we're being hypocritical, but I think the difference here, the nuance that we're trying to pursue, not that we do it perfectly, but the thing we're trying to do is what is the Holy Spirit leading us to cover? And I say that because the last thing we covered on the episode, the last episode. Yes. Episode 757, where we went 4.5 hours just going through all stuff with the magic bullet returning, was about Iran and how they accused the United States of being run by a race of white aliens.
Yes.
And it was weird because I didn't know why I put it in there, but it was like, I don't know, it's just a weird thing. It's kind of fun. But then all the Iran stuff, J.D. Vance, he's talking smack on Iran. There's the rumors about Iran had some kind of assassination plot that's hitting the newswire. And it's just weird. It's one of those weird things. It's like, okay.
Well,
And
it sort of was a perspective change, and it's, interesting. Yeah, that we brought a very old story, but was just very interesting. It's like a 10-year-old story, but it's one that if you don't know, you're not really getting kind of the full perspective on Iranian geopolitics. Once you realize that Iran legitimately thinks through the Snowden documents and with help with their friends in Russia that the U.S. is being controlled by tall white space aliens, that puts a little bit different spin on Iran news and their assassination attempts of whatever. If Iran has an assassination planned, they have an assassination planned of a tall white extraterrestrial.
Trump is an alien? Is that what
and it all starts to make more sense. Well, at least Iran would think so, probably.
Sure. Yeah. And again, who knows? But I just thought it was weird. And it's the uniqueness of this show that we bring those different things together. It seems to me that the elite, the social engineers, they're totally happy to have Trump back in office. As long as they can bring back some of the old, Iran being a really good one. There's a lot of good stuff buried in Iran or something. So, that tension has always been great for the military-industrial complex. Hey, we're going to shut down Ukraine, maybe settle down a little with the Gaza thing. But as long as we can ramp up Iran, go ahead, Donald. Do what you do. I don't know. All right, what are we doing?
We got a little bit off topic there, but that's okay. That's
I was going to say.
Just following the spirit here. All right, why don't we used to have a disclaimer to try to tell YouTube what's going on here. We no longer have the disclaimer because YouTube did not respect it. So instead, we replaced it with a tribute to the disclaimer.
This is not the greatest disclaimer, no. Just a tribute to a message we let go.
We're good boys. We're good boys.
Still good boys. All right, why don't I give you a rundown, Gonzalez?
Oh, look, here's Basil.
How dare you?
Let me bring you up to speed.
Well, we're starting out, folks, of course, following up on the ongoing psyop and narrative crafting of the attempted Trump assassination attempt. We'll be bringing clips after clips after clips to give you some updates on the fallout, the Secret Service, the identity of the shooter, the this, the that. It's just keeps on going, folks. And then, of course, some changing stories back and forth from the head of the Secret Service. We'll try to catch up on the latest version of things. And then on top of that, we've got financial backers of Trump. His support growing. Truth Social stock short suggests someone knew something. And then, of course, we'll be talking just a quick second about Tenacious D and Jack Black. We will also be having a minor discussion on the staged psyop. And if you just flinched at the idea of staged psyop, remember last episode, we are very specifically watching the unfurling of a Democrat billionaire mega donor psyop that the evidence, the receipts, the emails are there to watch. So as we open our minds to whatever reality might actually be, not just believing whatever narrative we're given, let's remember that psyops are going all sorts of different directions. Then we're getting into Flippy and some beast fashion. Flippy not only is flipping your burgers, serving you chips and drinks, tending bar, taking care of your children, flirting with your mom. No, Flippy the robotic arm is now spraying shoes onto Olympians. More on that later. We're checking in real quick in California for Gons here in the land of New Scum. Elon Musk is moving headquarters from California to Texas. But why? What happens when all eyes were on Trump? That has now caused Elon to make the move. Then we'll be visiting the RNC. Lots of ups
And
and
she spoke
downs.
to it really well. And she's way more famous than any of us up here.
Are you
I'm going to tell you that.
this?
Way more famous. And so,
are you hearing
to the
things?
extent that
I'm
these
hearing
guys are trying
things,
to
Gonzo.
bust
I'm
up our
hearing
coalition,
things.
that
sorry.
was
Sorry,
a
everybody.
buckle buster right there.
I don't even know if other people are hearing it, but it's...
They probably are. Live stream
sounds
probably
like
are.
Jake Tapper just talking in my ear. We're talking about the RNC. Lots of hullabaloo regarding a Sikh prayer, hullabaloo concerning Amber Rose. And yet, you take a second, have your second thought, dissect what the RNC doing here. There's a lot more at play. We will be dissecting the, once again, social media explosion. And then at the end of the show, more explosions. South Korea to mass produce lasers that can take out drones at $1.50 a hit. What a deal, Gons. What a deal. But first, Gons, our lead stories.
That was the longest.
Yeah.
I think I can go on record and say that was it. Well, the music stopped after like 2.5 minutes.
Well, I didn't hear any music. And so I was
yeah.
just like, you know, that's usually how I time myself is I hear the different phases of the music. I'm counting the bars, Gons. I'm robotically connected to the music playing in the background. I didn't hear it. So, you know, just thought we'd give everybody a real rundown of the show.
Awesome.
We will launch a new age. I am innocent. Innocent. They're coming after me. They love killing.
Okay, well, more stuff from the aftermath here. A lot of reporting going on, a lot of different clips and footage and new things coming out. We talked about how it's impossible not to have, you know, footage come out from people, bystanders, people that were there. And certainly we're seeing that more and more over the weekend.
Is that what we talked about? It's impossible to not have it come out.
No. I mean, it was just one of the points we made. Like there are clips that are out there. There's going to be more clips and
Your
angles and stuff coming out.
Generation event point
Yes.
was a very good point. That if nothing else, whether it's staged or whether it's a classic FBI plot, whatever it is, it might be the #1 most effective content generation event, which means money, 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 dollar, 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 eyeballs, eyeballs, eyeballs. But on the other hand, also an excellent tool to keep the conversation focused on this event forever. Because for the first time in history in the United States, we have an assassination.
Assassination. All right, new words.
That has hundreds and hundreds of video angles. This is really sort of a first time in history for an American presidential assassination attempt to have almost endless evidence to go through, which is helpful in a political sense because you can just keep dribbling it out for the rest of the campaign season. This will be an ongoing focus until November 4th.
November 3rd, November 2nd, you can bust out the new footage from the assassination attempt, new angle, and then get everyone fired up again.
Joe's up there on the roof. Joe's on the water tower. There's questions about the water tower, folks. Who is up there? It's Joe. He wasn't committing any sort of crime. He just got lost. He was looking for the ice cream, and he climbed the water tower.
It was Commander in a human suit. That's what it really was. Okay, so this is an article coming from WTAE.com. Video appears to show would-be Trump assassin at rally hour before shooting. I am also wondering, just as a part of this, the people that have footage, can they sell that footage to these news outlets? Can they make some money in the process? I know some people just post it on social media and then it's gone. You know, people gone as in, you know, it goes viral. Everyone picks it up. Everyone's copying it. It's open source.
If they play their cards right, I think that's true. I think there's somebody with footage is dealing with a little bit of a conundrum, which is they are required, I believe, by law, if they have it, to send it to the FBI.
Right.
But you know, if the FBI puts it out, then they kind of lose their chance to make any money on it. And I think that's part of the system we're talking about here, which is, you know, not all the footage is going to come out, but because a lot of people with really good footage, they're like, oh, if I hold on to this, I can try to sell it to a news agency, try to sell it to a website.
TMZ. Can you imagine TMZ getting a hold of that, paying some cash, getting some really good angles on what happened?
Exactly. Yeah. Money, 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 baby.
Money, money, money. Okay, so here's the breaking news from Pittsburgh Action News 4.
We're learning more about the movements of Thomas Crooks before Saturday's shooting at the Trump rally in Butler. New video obtained exclusively by Pittsburgh's Action News 4 appears to show Crooks lurking in the area an hour before he opened fire. A seemingly simple video capturing Saturday's large crowd in Butler, also seemingly capturing a much more sinister moment.
I wanted to pan the crowd because it was a massive crowd. So I was just taking in the moment. So this was before the shooting. Obviously had no idea how that day would end.
Let's walk you through this video you'll see only on 4. The man who captured it all, not wanting to show his face on camera. He says he was trying to capture the crowd and take it all in, but if you take a closer look, you'll notice someone in the background. The timestamp is 5:06, and the video appears to show 20-year-old Thomas Crooks lurking near a building just past the secure parameters of the event itself. As the video pans to the crowd, you'll notice law enforcement vehicles stationed in the area as well. As the camera moves back towards the building, Crooks appears to be seen again. Blink and you may miss it, but it likely shows Crooks was in the area for more than an hour before the shots were fired.
When I saw the video last night, when I was going back through my video clips and saw him, I was chilled to the point where I couldn't fall asleep right away, and I didn't sleep well. There's something really went wrong with this.
Law enforcement sources say Crooks was able to access the roof by climbing over an air conditioning unit adjacent to the building. Pittsburgh's Action News 4 has learned from multiple sources that Thomas Crooks was spotted at the rally, photographed as suspicious, and officers were actively looking for him when he made his way onto the roof and fired at former President Donald Trump.
All right, there you go.
I'm trying to look for some previous pictures of him on the roof, because the fella they're pointing out in the video looks like he's wearing shorts. Does he not? Did you see what I see?
It looked like he was wearing pants to me, the same kind of like gray pants, but I don't know. I'm kind of scrolling through. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. He kind of looks like it's pulled up, or it's got some knee pads
wearing
or something.
Some cargo shorts, baby.
I think it's cargo. Yeah, it's probably what's going on.
His cargo pockets packed with tater tots, ready to try to make a name for himself.
I think they tell us what might have been in his pockets. We got the Guardian here, and the headline: "Cellphone and detonator found on rooftop near suspected Trump shooter." So.
Now, this I don't know if we want to jump right into it here, but a cell phone detonator. Are we? When exactly?
Cell phone and
show,
detonator detonator.
Interesting. I saw it as cell phone detonator on some other posts and some other articles, so I'm not quite sure. But the IED in the trunk, the cell phone detonator, or cell phone and detonator, that is not just a normal person thing. That is one of the things that just screams from past experience, past history of FBI situations that, this guy was
Intel group or some higher group.
Or whatever, right. Whoever's doing it. Hey, kid, do this thing. You're gonna fix the country. You're gonna do the right thing. Let us provide you this. Here, we gave you this cell phone. Click the button. It's a classic. It's happened over and over and over where some intel agency will provide the quote cell phone detonator to the target of their thing, and when they click the button, then they come in and they get them or whatever. Right. So I don't know. There's so many things not known about this guy, but we'll get into some more detonations about him in a little bit.
Yeah. So this, according to The Guardian here, it says that a picture obtained by a Pittsburgh area TV station showed a cell phone and detonator carried by the gunman who attempted to assassinate Donald Trump. I just want to read this far. The items were shown on the rooftop from which Thomas Matthew Crooks used an AR-15 style rifle to fire on the former president and Republican presidential nominee. They couldn't go without it. I was surprised to not see this as much.
I know. Oh, I saw it everywhere.
Oh, you did? Okay. I was, it jumped out at me just because the initial reports, I didn't really see the AR-15 style rifle mentioned as much, but maybe I wasn't looking
and
as closely.
It's so irritating because from what I can tell, it was an actual AR-15 platform. And that's like the phrase you use is, you know, an
when it's
AR-15,
not an AR-15.
AR-15 platform covers millions of different, like all sorts of AR style rifle means nothing. It was invented by the media. But you know, you watch these videos of the ex-military snipers and stuff, all gun guys, you know, they're calling it AR-15 platform, which is sort of the more official name. But anyways, the AR-15 style PSYOP is still strong.
So here's CNN talking about some of this new information.
Aaron, there's been some developments as the investigation has progressed. You know, what the investigators are telling us is, as far as a motive, a manifesto, the reasoning behind this, the suspect is still a blank slate. But what they have developed is a lot of the background about what happened that day. They know that he went to his employer.
Hold on, before we continue. Nobody is a blank slate, especially a 20-year-old.
It's the most suspicious thing about this. And who is doing the investigation? The FBI.
The FBI, yeah. The very people that probably help build this whole situation. Yeah.
Right. You don't want to report on messages and plans that the kid has if it's coming from, you know, FBI headquarters cell phone.
Yeah, it's bad PR. This is PR and spin like anything else, any kind of marketing.
Happened that day. They know that he went to his employer at the nursing home where he works as a dietary specialist before this and said, I need Saturday off. I have something important to do. But he told his coworkers, I'll see you on Sunday. So he changed his days off, presumably for this. We also understand that when he got to the fairgrounds where this rally was being held for Donald Trump, the first thing that puts him on the radar of security people is near the magnetometer area where they're screening people in, he's carrying in his hand a rangefinder. It's a device that looks like a small pair of binoculars, but it's used by shooters to measure the distance when they're setting up a long-distance shot. Because he didn't have a weapon, that would not have prevented him to go through security, but they did flag, what does he have this in his hand for? At that point, they told people, keep an eye on this guy, but then he leaves the secure area, the staging area, and he doesn't turn up again for some time until the crowd says there's a guy crawling up the roof and it appears he has a rifle. There is an eerie moment in here, Aaron, where he's taking the rangefinder and he's looking through it at the counter sniper positions, and one of the counter sniper positions is looking at him through the scope. At this point, there's not a gun in the picture, as I understand it, but they're saying he's looking at us, looking at him. Then when people alert the police and they try to come up the ladder to get him, and he confronts them with the AR-15 gun, they dive for cover, and then a moment later he opens fire. But a lot of this sounds very spread out. The end of it happens very quickly. The last piece is the search of the car. As we reported last night, 2 remote-controlled IEDs, remote-controlled bombs in the car. The remote control for those devices found on his person on the roof, according to sources. 3 fully loaded magazines with nearly 100 rounds, a bulletproof vest. So it raises the question, did he expect to escape from this? And if so, what was all that intended for? What was to happen next? Questions that are still open in the minds of these investigators.
Yeah, maybe not so open, to be honest.
I mean, this is kind of the thing. This is all the information that they're allowing to come out on the media. I mean, it's I don't know what we're supposed to think. If it's coming from the mainstream media, we know for a fact that there is some psyop at play here. I mean, the fact that they don't have a motive, they don't have, you know, anything like that. Okay, we can kind of guess what the plan is or what the reality could be there, because that's impossible. Nobody has a completely blank slate. The fact that he got all nervous before coming through the metal detector and they clocked that he had a rangefinder, you know, the kind that shooters use.
One that shooters use to see how far you are from a target. Yeah.
And they kind of just let him wander away. And
Nobody walked
lost.
up to him? That's what's weird. At the very least, someone should walk. Hey, how you doing, fella? What do you got there? What are you doing? You know,
Who's got the time? Who's got the time, God?
I would have done it.
Just all very strange.
What you got there?
Yeah. I mean, what we're seeing here, if anything, because a lot of this, we don't actually get a whole lot of information.
No, that's why he said it was spread out. Everything was spread out, even though it's like the last hour of everything that happened in sequence. He's like, it seems all spread out.
Yeah. Well, the interesting, we
really.
have different facts. We have facts we're being told, but there's very little information contained in those facts. But what it does serve is to build a narrative to keep people engaged. There's a narrative now, every day you learn about, oh, he had a rangefinder. Oh, he bought a ladder at Home Depot. Ooh, these pieces.
He walked in with the ladder. He placed the ladder and carried a gun up. People started pointing at him.
Through the metal detector. Very suspicious. Of course, there's some also alternate facts, I guess, to use an old term now, regarding the cop that allegedly approached him on the roof. Now, the story we had first was that a cop went up there, then Thomas turned around, pointed his rifle at him, and then the cop ran away. He ducked and covered and apparently went home or something. I don't know where he went, but he just didn't do anything about a shooter on the roof. Now the information coming out from, I believe it was the Secret Service, the head of the Secret Service made the comment that no, it wasn't that the police officer retreated from getting a rifle pointed at him, is that he lost his grip. He lost his grip and he slid down the ladder on accident. So don't ask any questions, okay?
Yeah, that sounds like he's trying to change the narrative a little bit to, not embarrass himself.
Yeah, of course. Or something. Well, they're going for the incompetence play, is what it is here. Suzette Ann comes in with none of those facts matter because it isn't real. Oh, we will be talking about this, folks. I think a lot of people are. I think a lot of people's heads are in the right place, but I think they're missing some very specific things. There's a very effective psyop protecting the very people who have built this narrative in the first place. What else you got?
Well, before we move on, I just want to quickly mention, we talk about, we know from experience, we know from patterns, we reported on this many times. And when I'm talking about some of these sort of individuals that seem to have a certain profile when it comes to these types of events. Right. And one specific one I just want to bring up because it was somewhat related to the show here. Years ago, there was an attempt to blow up the Oklahoma City bank or like bridge near the bank or something. And this individual, his name was Jerry Drake Varnell. He was sentenced to prison for 25 years. Now, when this happened, a man who said he listened to our show emailed us and said, hey, I used to date the mother of this individual who's being accused. At the time, it was no sentencing yet. The mother of the individual here being accused, he does suffer from schizophrenia. And there was an article that they sent of the mother going to the local newspaper, like the local news outlet, saying, my son could never get a hold of explosives. How would he even get to explosives and get all this stuff? He apparently I think he had a drug problem. I'm not sure. But his mother said he suffers from schizophrenia. But nobody really, answered to that, or I don't know if it stood or was it even mentioned in court. And again, serving 25 years. And the whole thing, the way the United States Attorney's Office, justice.gov, if you read through this document, they're like, hey, this case is extremely important considering we're approaching the 25th anniversary of the Oklahoma City bombing. So it has this weird, the FBI are still working hard and they're taking down terrorists vibe, where it's kind of suspect, like how this all really played out. So that's just an example of something an account that we have. Obviously, this is anecdotal from our stance, but the situation at hand and the news articles that were out there seem to suggest that there's always something more going on with this type of situation. So just wanted to mention that as an example of how we have viewed this type of pattern when it comes to these individuals and shooters and stuff. Now, the parents.
real quick, this is to your point there.
Yeah.
There's some interesting details because, of course, we know it's the six-week cycle. The FBI needs to justify
have a news event, to justify their existence.
Justify their existence. So what they do is they groom lonely, nerdy gamers, usually with mental health issues, oftentimes on things like lithium. This is always the details. They almost always have, were aware of the guy. They always say, "Oh, we were known. He was known
we had
to us."
Prior contact, or he has been on record or something.
Yeah. And then, of course, we get into his phone and he has a manifesto and he has a long social media history of, whatever, usually supporting Trump or something. These are all details that we're kind of used to, and they were details that made it extremely easy to point out, to pick out sort of the truth behind the matter. Now, in what's the word? I guess opposite of this, we have some very specific things here on FBI.gov putting out statements. They mention specifically the shooter was not known to the FBI prior to this incident.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't know him. How could we know?
Right.
The fact that there is a squeaky clean social media history, squeaky clean messaging apps, text messages, stuff like that.
Nothing on social media. Nothing.
No search. They have, I think, they have at least yet to put out what they usually do, which is like, we checked his Google history and he had searched how to make IED or whatever. There's none of that. Also, it's just interesting how it's kind of the exact. Oh, no manifesto was like another one.
No manifesto. Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah,
have
all the
like
stuff that people like us criticize the whole situation about. They sort of bullet pointed what they were and then made sure that they were answering those things
exactly
one at a time. Oh no, there's no prior history. See, and then no manifesto. See,
exact.
It's
opposite.
Very strange. Yeah.
Yeah.
Strange.
And they're putting this stuff out. It's kind of weird. It's weird to report on what you don't have, to focus on what you don't have, to go through a list of what you don't have, naming the negatives. But in this case, these nothings, these negatives, are actually somethings. That's why they're reporting it. The something is, no, we didn't know about him. Then something is, oh, he didn't have a manifesto. It's sort of this... It's this very specific sort of formula to try to, maybe
shape
people.
shape the whole narrative.
It's all just this narrative shaping.
Speaking of, the parents, right? People are talking about the parents. I heard commentary. Trump should go to the parents. That would be the great thing to do in this moment. Fox News had this reported. I think it was this morning.
We have just learned that the Trump rally shooter, Thomas Crook's parents, were looking for him in the hours leading up to the shooting. We're now told they eventually called law enforcement to report that Crooks was missing, and they were worried. And they also were told, those parents are now being cooperative now with authorities, but they gave them the heads up that something's going on with our son. We are worried. We don't know the texture or the details of their concerns. So in other words, well, were they worried that he had a gun? Were they worried? What were they worried about? Were they worried that he was going to try to attempt to kill a sitting president and then go ahead and turn into an assassin and kill another person and injure two others? It was an attempted assassination on Trump, but he managed to murder anyway. Are we talking about that? What were they giving the cops a heads up about? This is the first time we are hearing this. We'll stay on the story and we will bring you the details, updates as we get them. Crook's parents were looking for him hours ahead of the assassination attempt.
Gotta love local news. Gotta love local news. Now, this is interesting because it goes against what we've been told already, which is that Crooks asked to borrow, and then borrowed the gun from his father, telling his father he was going to the shooting range. That was what was previously reported. I don't know exactly how they came up with that. I'm assuming that they talked to the father. But that was the previous narrative, which is, oh, yeah, he borrowed his dad's gun, said he was going to the shooting range, and disappeared. Now, the guy is 20 years old.
20!
He's 20 years old. What? He's missing for a few hours on Saturday morning, and
Even
his
a few
parents
days.
freak out?
Look, I have a 23-year-old stepdaughter.
Uh-huh.
At age 20, she's gone for 3, 4, 5 days. It's not a week. Maybe I'm like, where are you at? What's going on? Just touching base. I don't know. It's weird. It is weird. They would have to be in on something as parents to have
There's
that
something
call.
else there. There's something else there.
If that's
Or,
true, yeah.
Yeah.
The texture
maybe.
of the concern.
Why, and part of it is like, why would you? If your
Right.
son is, you wake up in the morning and your son's not at home, 20 years old, he asked to borrow the gun and told you he was going to the, shooting range. Why in the world would
Why
you
didn't you
call?
go to the shooting range? Maybe they did go to the shooting range. He's not there. Oh
Yeah,
no, he's up
that's
to something.
possible.
Call.
That's
That's
possible.
possible.
Yeah. Well, we don't know the texture, Gons.
We don't know the texture of the. That's a really good line. I'm going to start using that. If they ask you for details, well, I don't understand the texture of
Very
the
poetic. But
situation.
yeah, if you're calling in a missing person, I think the rule is it's got to be 24 hours. They have to be missing for 24 hours.
Yeah, missing is that's an interesting word.
You wake up, your adult son isn't there for breakfast. That's not the time to call the cops immediately, unless you think that there's something else wrong, unless you fear that he has some other motives or whatever.
Have you? I don't know if this is AI or what. I'm just gonna play it just because I saw it. It's 10 seconds. It's the alleged shooter, Crooks.
My name is Thomas Matthew Crooks. I hate Republicans. I hate Trump. And guess what? You got the wrong guy.
What do you think, Basil?
That's not him. No, I heard this story. I mean, this is the story that I came across. Was that this guy kind of noticed that he looks like Matthew Crooks, Thomas Matthew Crooks, and then made this video to kind of just mess around. And now he's basically ruined his entire life because you've got.
Did he really?
Thousands.
Is this
Yeah.
guy? Is this guy?
He faked
Got to
it
change
just
his face
kinda,
now.
Yeah, because he kind of looks like the guy, and it's different when you're just listening to the audio, but you're watching the video, and it's like, okay, this is somebody doing something funny or quirky or whatever. But yeah, this guy totally regretted this immediately. Ruined his life by putting this out there.
Okay. All right. So not all content is good content, apparently. If you're thinking about spinning up some content in the aftermath of a traumatic event. So just a heads up there. Okay, what are we? Are we going to move on to a little bit of the official Secret Service stuff? Okay, so we have the headline here from CNBC: Trump shooting, Secret Service changes story on local SWAT team position. This actually, let me play the clip first because I think we'll go in sequence here. The rooftop stuff was a lot more sort of viral over the last day or so.
Well,
this
was the silliest. This was maybe the silliest excuse in the long list of excuses we've heard from the Secret Service here.
So this is the United States Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle on ABC.
When you saw the events unfold on Saturday?
Shock and then concern, obviously, for the former president.
Investigators now trying to determine whether roof access had been properly locked down. The shooter climbing up seemingly unimpeded, about 400 feet from the stage, with a direct line of sight on the former president.
Should that roof have been secure, period?
That building in particular has a sloped roof at its highest point. And so, there's a safety factor that would be considered there, that we wouldn't want to put somebody up on a sloped roof. And so, the decision was made to secure the building from inside.
What?
Okay.
What? What are you talking
Not a lot of confidence in your Secret Service members. If you're afraid they're going to fall off a sloped roof, which is hilarious because, of course, you watch the videos and the roof is, yes, technically sloped. but it is not a steep roof whatsoever.
No, the counter shooters were on a steeper slope, I
A
believe.
much steeper slope.
Yeah.
Right.
So don't. Yeah. I mean, that's what made me think this has to be a troll. Like, come on, you know that people can see those other snipers.
She
on
knows.
the roof.
She knows
has to know.
she is totally done for. As an example of how this really wasn't a problem, here's a link I just put under that clip, Gons, if we want to take a look at this. This is a post by Dom Luker, of course, famous Twitter man, who posted a 15-second
Dom
video.
Lucre, buddy, Lucre.
I don't think that's true. I hear Luker all the time. But he's got this video here. Guns is going to pull up in a second. That shows, just how easy or perhaps dangerous it might be to be up on a sloped roof. Guns, is it pulling out?
Yeah. I gotta move it here. Give me a second.
He's got to move it, folks.
Gotta move it into position.
Move it
Yeah,
into position.
move it. Oh, I see what's going on here. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, hold on. Let me press the right buttons.
Put it on the screen.
Get it on the screen. Here we go. Oh no, I did the wrong thing. Here we go. Are there any bad words in this?
I have no idea. I've not listened to it, but it says developing this cow that was able to be posted on a roof with a slope appears to be more qualified than Secret Service agents, according to Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle. And what we have is some really jaw-dropping footage. Jaw-dropping footage of a cow who somehow was able to climb a Home Depot ladder and sneak past the Secret Service. And the cow is on the roof doing just fine. Boy, oh boy, this head of the Secret Service lady is not doing a great job of handling the PR. A New York Post article has a headline, Secret Service Director Kim Cheadle landed job after push by Jill Biden's office, sources say.
So this is all part of the take. See, this is okay. Who benefits? My gosh, it just keeps benefiting Trump, this whole thing.
Well, the failure of it certainly benefits him. That's true. Let's see. Embattled Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle, who is facing congressional outcry and calls to resign over security lapses leading to former President Donald Trump's near assassination Saturday, landed her role thanks largely to a close relationship with First Lady Jill Biden, the Post has learned. So there you go. There's been lots of talk about sort of the role that DEI played in the Secret Service in general. There's been some claims that have been actually really hard to confirm. And this is why, this is why we don't have more listeners, is because if I'm not able to confirm it in a way that is satisfactory, we just can't really talk about it with any confidence. There's lots of Twitter posts and there's some less than reliable blogs on the internet talking about how the usual members of Trump's Secret Service team, the ones who are sort of posted with him on a long-term basis, that they were switched out, that they were put on to another event, a Jill Biden event that was going on, or, given leave or something to rest, and that a temporary team was brought in, for this particular event. And I'm seeing this everywhere and people are really screaming about it. And there's a few pretty sketchy blog type news things that are reporting it, having a very hard time confirming it in a way that would make me confident in the story. But
yeah, I mean, it could be, you never know. It could be a half truth. Maybe there were a couple people that would have done something that got, the whole team. Maybe it's one or two people. You know what I mean? You never know. And
it could be true, and they're just doing a really good job of keeping the information down. I'm not really able to integrate it into a grand theory here quite yet.
Yeah. Well, the article here from CNBC. So part of the interview there, I don't have the clip, but basically she stated, the director of the Secret Service stated that they had shooters inside the building that Crooks was on top of. So that was
Yes,
like the
this was
first thing
another
she said.
story. Yeah, going back and forth.
Right. And now, according to CNBC, Trump shooting Secret Service changes story on local SWAT team position. And says here the Secret Service's official, well, let me just get it from the top here, just so people get the context. The U.S. Secret Service official on Wednesday said that a local Pennsylvania police SWAT team was actually in another building than the one whose roof was used by the would-be assassin of former President Trump. The Secret Service's officials...
Which is actually worse. It's actually worse because not only did she not have somebody up on top of the roof, she didn't even have somebody in the building or like guarding the building at all. Just left the building entirely unattended.
The person in the building is the real shooter doing all the stuff, and we're not supposed to draw any attention to that person. The U.S. Secret Service is...
Real quick, a quote from her regarding this. At that particular site, we divided up areas of responsibility, but the Secret Service is totally responsible for design and implementation and execution of the site. She told CNN that or where was it? Basically, she was saying, that building was the responsibility of local law enforcement. I mean, I'll still take the blame. Sure, that's my job. But that was the cop's job. That wasn't even our job. So,
yeah. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. The new account, the official's new account contradicts a prior claim by Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle that a 20-year-old gunman, blah, 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 blah. The contradiction is certain to increase already sharp questions about whether the Secret Service acted appropriately in arranging security for the rally, which ended when Crooks fatally shot one attendee and wounded two others, narrowly missing Trump. The unnamed Secret Service official told NBC News on Wednesday that the building containing the local SWAT team was not in the building that Crooks climbed and instead was in another building in the same business complex. That official said the building was connected to the one that Crooks had used, but could not say which building it was. So interesting. It's like an extra sort of push out from within, like a whistleblower from within to out Kimberly Cheadle here.
Yeah, no, Cheadle's done. She's done. Here's another quote from her. If there are things that we need to change about our policies, our procedures, or our methods, we are certainly going to do so. Well, like I mentioned last episode, you go through the policies and procedures for something like this that were drafted after the Reagan administration. There were several parts of their policies and procedures that are, quote, written in blood that they did not follow. And so now, this is kind of where I think we have a good opportunity to kind of try to wade through a lot of the different angles to the PSYOP here. Because, boy, oh boy, on one hand, it almost seems like a positive thing overall that Blue Anon is losing their minds. Their gourds are leaking out of their ears because of the it's staged. It's staged, it's staged, it's staged. Again, this word staged is not the usual word that you use for a false flag. It is the word of a Democrat. It is the word of a non-experienced conspiracy theorist is what it is. And we know for a fact, we showed it to you last episode, reported by Semaphore, that billionaire mega donor Reid Hoffman and his lead guy there sent out an email to sympathetic journalists, which means who's sympathetic to Reid Hoffman, the guy who gives $100 million to media corporations to get Biden elected, or at least to stop Trump from getting elected? Who would be sympathetic to that guy? Every single mainstream journalist on the planet would be sympathetic to that guy. And he is the one, the language literally saying, you need to ask the question. Your credibility, aka your jobs, depend on it. You need to explore this being staged. Again, wrapping it up with, we know Putin has staged these things. Trump is like Putin, and we know Hamas on October 7th did these things. he's sort of also implying, I think accidentally, that October 7th was staged, but he's saying we know world leaders around the globe staged these things to gain favor, and then continues to compare Trump to Hamas on October 7th. So a lot of wacky stuff in there, but we know for a fact that a PSYOP was dictated from the very top of liberal journalism, from Reid Hoffman, perhaps the #1 Democrat donor, telling, in a way, threatening their jobs if they don't start using this idea that Trump staged it. Now, that, of course, has spread throughout liberal Twitter. Liberals are, I mean, I don't even want to say liberals, normies, people who have never believed a conspiracy theory in their life, people who have no details whatsoever. There's some man on the street videos, going up to people on the street like, hey, what do you think about the Trump assassination? And it's just person after person after person after person saying, oh, it's staged, it's staged. Nobody's, okay, all right. Why do you say that? I don't know. I just don't believe it. It's just staged. So this word staged, the PSYOP is very strong. And people are getting frustrated with me because I am pointing this out. And I don't think they need to get frustrated with me. I am questioning the term staged, not the false flag idea, okay? When you're saying something is staged, and I ask people, what do you mean by staged? And they really can't tell me. Like, they don't tell me why they're using the word staged. Because staged, that's more of like a theatrical type of thing. They say, oh, well, there's blood packs. Trump could have used a blood pack on the ground to make it look like he got hit. There was some stuff floating around about DARPA's curved bullets, which we've, or curving bullets. We've reported on the DARPA curving bullets before. There's sort of these theories going around that, oh, so there was a beacon on Trump. And so the shooter shot the curving bullet, and the beacon diverted the bullet away from Trump just to make it look like he hit his ear. Then he fell on the ground, and then there was a blood pack in his hat, and then the Secret Service put the blood on him, and so then he stood up, and then he did the thing. And I'm like, on one hand, I am grateful to God that there are people out there, both normies and experienced narrative questioners, who are not taking at face value the narrative. I'm happy that that is becoming more popular. But as always, just because we are narrative skeptics doesn't mean that, our first attempt at explaining something is the truth or even really makes sense. Why would you need a blood pack if you have a bullet that can curve and hit his ear? Why do you need a curved bullet if you're going to fake the blood anyways? And then why did they curve the bullet to shoot somebody and kill them anyway? There's this number of things. Then there's the two-shooter thing. I mean, I think there's something very seriously to be looked at with the two-shooter. We've got videos of people talking about how they saw a shooter up on the water tower and how Secret Service snipers took out the guy on the water tower. Very possible. But you can't use the word staged and also talk about there being two shooters. If it's staged, you don't need any shooters necessarily. You might need a body to say this is the guy. And the real question that is always there is who benefits? Who benefits? Now, we can agree that the shooter missing benefits Trump in obvious ways and in several other ways. However, if the shooter didn't miss, who benefits? Of course, it's Biden, the deep state, the Democrats. We've got clip after clip after clip. Adam Schiff talking about how the deep state's got a lot of ways. What does he say? Intelligence agencies got a lot of ways to mess with you if they don't like what you're doing. They got a lot of ways to get you. Clip after clip after clip. Basically, in context now, saying out loud that they were planning to assassinate Trump. And the the evidence that exists is more congruent with an intelligence or deep state plan to take out Trump that went awry. That's just the fact of the matter. Now, could it be extremely cleverly crafted by the Trump campaign to plan a fake assassination with and including real people dying, a real weirdo that they convinced to go do this, a second shooter on the water tower, this incredible sort of intricate plan to fake an assassination attempt so that he could raise his fist and get the benefits? It is possible. Lots of things are possible. But if there was no assassination attempt at all, he was still going to win the election. He was leading by huge margins before this attempt. And if you have a guy who is ready, poised, and almost certainly going to win the election, with the exception of,
Pennsylvania.
shenanigans,
Sure, shenanigans,
election shenanigans, that's always a possibility. But if there was a real election, a real honest election, Trump was going to win. Why would somebody who is going to win anyways go through the trouble, the process, the expense, the risk? If there was a bullet at all, you don't get somebody to shoot your ear and not your head. That's impossible. You don't do that.
I think the trap here is still looking at this from a right-left type of paradigm, where you're like, oh, Trump planned it. Oh no, the deep state planned it. And it's like this duality, these two opposing forces, when it's entirely possible, and this is just me, again, spitballing, this is not an evidence-based narrative, it is just a thought, that if there are truly some shadowy folks who fund both sides, let both sides sort of do their thing, and are orchestrating a fight amongst the two parties, it could be that, hey, I'm going to unleash the whole operation, I got going on through the whole paradigm of the left and the deep state and all that. If you can pass this test, you can be president, kind of thing. And boom, they do the bullet, whatever the outcome was going to be is going to be the outcome for those social engineers who are sick and don't care if people die. So if Trump dies, great. We got a chance to get Biden in there, whatever, and go on with that type of tentacle. If it fails and if he survives, then great. We can go ahead and move with Trump as sort of the puppet and go with this other tentacle of the Kraken, so to speak.
Sure. Well, that was why J.D. Vance got picked. J.D. Vance is the establishment guy. Every single thing about him is a pro-technocratic sort of Illuminati guy. Every single thing.
Right, safety net.
Yeah, which I think is both a safety net for the deep state and also a safety net for Trump. Because if it was, the Democrats or whatever who want him dead, they definitely don't want J.D. Vance to be president.
To your point about the staged thing and the left and them freaking out about it, and I'm showing a graphic here that shows sort of the NPC bros crying, with the tinfoil hat on, and they're all saying, Trump staged it. And then you got a MAGA guy, the MAGA Pepe Frog with the MAGA hat, and then a tinfoil hat on top of the MAGA hat, and he's saying it was an inside job, like nice and calm.
Yeah.
And it's this whole duality thing going on.
Exactly.
I think you have to remember that a lot of this is initiation ritual for the masses. Mm-hmm. The right, the conservatives, they are more aware of what's happening with stuff, right? Just in general. And they were initiated years ago. Yeah.
Beautifully operated PSYOP social engineering project here. And I think that's the whole staged thing. Because, talking about Sandy Hook, nobody says Sandy Hook was staged. It's just not the word. The word was put out there, created, and enforced by a mega donor who's in control of the media. That's how the media works. A guy who's ready to give you $100 million, you use the word he wants you to use. You put it out there. And like you said, it's just a really incredibly effective tactic to divide people even more. I mean, now you got the blue anons meeting the sort of right-wing conspiracy theorists, meeting the independent conspiracy theorists. Boy, oh boy, that is a dangerous combination of all these people.
The circle is complete. The circle is almost complete. We finally have the extremist middle people or something. I don't know. The extremist Goku and Vegeta combo.
Well, and the best part is that the staged narrative is you don't have to be the people on the left, the normies, the Democrats, the people who just vote Democrat because it's the good thing, it's the right thing to do. Those are the people connecting to the staged narrative. They're not even extremists. It's people walking down the street who know absolutely nothing. They know literally nothing. They just say what is parroted to them. They do not care to know more. They do not care to be right. They live their lives saying the popular thing that keeps them in the in-group. And saying it is staged, specifically the word staged, again, every single one of them uses the word, is the thing that's keeping the blind sort of sleeping normies in the in-group. And that's how you know that this is just a masterfully executed psyop.
Yeah, you mentioned.
But that's not to say that there's no funny business. I talk about this stage thing and the ridiculousness of the stage thing, and then people react to me as if I think that everything's on the level. I'm not saying the whole thing is on the level. It was obviously an inside job, and to think anything otherwise is just very silly. And of course, there's a question about who on the inside. I'll tell you what. Well, the FBI is not taking orders from the Trump campaign.
Oh, of course.
It's that simple.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you mentioned in your rant that who benefits if Trump does get hit with the bullet, and it's the Democrats. And I don't know if that would be, yes, to a degree of like, hey, they took out the guy. But in terms of the reaction of the country and everything else, I always point to the social engineers. It's like they would get the upheaval that they would really wanted for a long time. So I don't know. It's a never-ending conversation here, and I think that's the point too. That's part of the psyop, is get people talking and going on long rants about how it's staged or not staged, or it is staged and it is partly staged. And, blah, blah,
and let me wrap it up by giving my sort of ultimate point so nobody's confused. My point isn't that I am right that staged is the wrong word and inside job is the right word, and if you think Trump did it, you're wrong. That's not the point. The point is we all know that the powers and principalities that control everything, they are benefiting either way. And to get caught up in Trump faked it, no, the Democrats did it, no, the blah, 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 no, it was fake, no, it was real, no, it was inside job, no, it was completely staged, it was theater. Like getting all wrapped up in that, much like how I did for the past 5-10 minutes here, again, is an extremely elegant way to keep people wrapped up in this narrative almost eternally.
Yeah, I think that's the point. More content generation, baby. Yeah, going long. I do have these clips. I don't know if you want me to play them now. I mean, I think
Which
the rant.
Ones?
I have 3 clips of the eyewitnesses mentioning the water tower.
Oh yeah,
like
mention
right
the
after.
water tower. We can play the water tower.
Okay, well let me get them set up then, because I kind of thought we might skip it because we went really long on that.
Either way, whatever you want. But an interesting thing to note is that a lot of water tower talk, a lot of interviews about the water tower, a lot of eyewitnesses talking about the water tower. There's some very bad theories about the water tower. People kind of drawing out the diagram, the 3D diagram, the map diagram of their theory about the water tower, man. And it makes absolutely no sense the way that they are drawing it out. However, there's lots of eyewitnesses talking about the water tower and not a single mainstream source talking about the water tower.
Yeah, well, interestingly enough, the New York Post shared this clip.
First crack of the gunfire, and I just screamed, it's the sniper, and he was firing down toward the water tower.
That's what we're hearing.
And and then at that same exact moment, there was a spray from the right side of the stage that I thought was some type of gas. like, or not gas, but smoke.
Sure.
You know, lined up front. But he said it was, he heard it was gunfire with the hydraulic on the track. So the gunfire was
Oh,
coming
trucker.
from the stage.
Wow.
And then a few minutes later, there was a couple more shots down the hill, and that's when they started flooding and pushing everybody out.
All right, so that's New York Post.
Oh, okay.
I have, but it is somebody, you know, just doing an interview. This aired on NBC News. So yeah, just keep in mind, this is being aired on national TV or maybe
that's
local
interesting.
TV.
I had not seen these before.
Aaron, what was going through your mind? What did you think when you first heard those sounds?
I thought this would do what you just said. I thought it was fireworks, 4th of July. It's been pop, pop, pop. That's what it sounded like. The gentleman behind me, I was one seat. He was to the right of me. He could see the sharpshooter behind Trump. He said the sharpshooter shot to the left. He killed the gentleman in the water tower here.
There it is.
Yeah.
They saw somebody die or fall or something on the water tower.
Oof.
Isn't that weird?
It is very
and then
weird.
Fox also interviewed somebody with mentioning the water tower. This audio quality is not very good, but I'll play it anyway here.
So we started trying to go after them then when they finally let us up, and they had been right by the fence where the other shooter was. There was one I heard in the water tower. There was one by the fence.
Sorry, the video. Let me play it one more time. It's only 9 seconds long. The
So we
video was
started
changed.
trying to go after them then when they finally let us up, and they had been right by the fence where the other shooter was. There was one I heard in the water tower. There was one by the fence.
There it is. So multiple reports that all aired on mainstream mentioning the water tower, but not a single mention of the water tower from Secret Service, from these other, like official articles. Interesting. Just an observation.
Yeah. Well, it makes you wonder, if this was, what's his face, Thomas being, MK Ultra'd by whoever to do this.
The remote controller guy on the water tower.
Did he have a buddy? Did he have a overseer? Did he have a whatever? Or, was it really him just wanting to do something, make a name for himself, and had a buddy who nobody's talking about? I mean, that is a crazy detail. If there was a guy on the water tower, he sure didn't do a good job. Like, if he... Again, the Secret Service not covering the water tower is its own confusing aspect.
What diagram did you see about the water tower and the roof? And because I saw a couple too. I didn't really dive too deep into them because it was just more stuff. Yeah. But in terms of the shooter, yeah.
The aerial view of the Google Maps of the area, they had the shooter on the roof, and then the yellow arrow was pointing towards Trump, and then they had the water tower shooter, and the line was red. I'm just going off the top of my head here. I don't have it on me. And it was, the footage that allegedly people are, I guess, proves or alleging that there is a second shooter who shot, hits the back of the bleachers, hits two people kind of along the back of the bleachers.
I saw that footage. You can see it in the background.
Yeah, if that's true, whoever's on the water tower just wasn't even aiming at Trump. Wasn't even close. Was just trying to shoot somebody on the bleachers.
Right. Yeah,
the angles just didn't make sense.
Right. Yes. Interesting. Yeah. Here's just some photos people took of the whole water tower angle here. Oh, it's just some blood on the thing. Is that what you're talking about? This sort of drawing of the water tower and then some yellow lines to the stage.
Yeah, that's not the one that I saw, but you can see the line from the water tower. See how it's pointed at Trump? The water tower guy didn't even shoot at Trump. There was no ballistics coming from the water tower there. You see the back of the bleachers, a little bit back there. You can see that white square of the bleachers.
Right.
The shot that allegedly came from the water tower kind of scooted along the back of those bleachers there.
That's what I saw too.
Not
it hit
in
a
line
couple
with
people.
Trump at all. Yeah, it looks like whoever's on the water tower didn't even try to shoot at Trump. So it's just very confusing.
Well, that's the strange thing is, again, more questions about, okay, well, if they were not trying to shoot Trump, or were they actually trying to kill a couple people in the crowd just for the whole thing. So yeah, just
Ray
more questions for sure.
Ray on YouTube actually does bring up another thing that people are thinking about. He says, anybody thinking it was Cruz or McConnell behind it, the RNC itself. I mean, we know that the deep state part of the Republican Party does not like Trump, the never Trumpers, those types. So, yeah, there's a lot. When you have a lot of enemies, it can come from all sorts of different directions.
The theory, we will touch on that theory again a little bit later. We are going extended for these parts here. But I do want to mention, again, just talking about Trump support here, David Sachs on X Twitter had posted this. Ben Horowitz, Bill Ackman, Cameron Winklevoss, Doug Leone, Elon Musk, Ilgan McCabe, Ken Howry, Kyle Samani, Mark Andreessen, Jacob Hellberg, Joe Lonsdale, Palmer Luckey, Peter Thiel, Sean McGuire, Trevor Traina, Tushar Jain, Tyler Winklevoss. Come on in, the water's warm. These are all people who have publicly endorsed Trump and are at least multi-millionaires. Some of them are billionaires. So there's Trump's
Those
got
are the new
some
funders.
good support. The new funders.
New financial backers
The
of
new
Trump.
money, the new fresh money. And speaking of money, somebody had pointed out, they said that there was a large amount of shorting of the DJT stock over the weekend. This person
Which
who
points
posted
to billionaire deep state and not
billionaire
Trump
deep
doing
state
it
knowing
himself.
what's going to happen. Right. Shorts against the Truth Social stock more than doubled from July 1st to 12th, meaning people or large organizations were predicting that by Monday the stock would plummet, something that undoubtedly would have occurred had President died in Pennsylvania. This could mean some had foreknowledge of the plot against President Trump's life and tried to profit off the coming calamity. And they mentioned how it also happened in during 9/11, where a lot of the airline companies had some bets placed before the event. So
which
yeah,
is a notch,
this is
which is a notch in the side that Trump didn't know about it.
right.
Did not
Trump
know
himself didn't know about it. Sure. So yeah, just some other interesting things. Tenacious D basically canceled, but of course the Daily Beast had the headline, Tenacious D debacle proves cancel culture is just for libs. Those conservatives, they don't get canceled. It's just the liberals that get canceled.
That is so
gosh, it's
embarrassing.
going to
I
be
can't even go
insufferable.
into it.
No,
That's
we're not going to.
That's not cancel culture. That's just saying a horrible
Saying
thing,
bad things,
people
right.
not liking it.
Right. And then I just had some of these examples that people are, again, more content being generated. Trump angles. There's one of the scope target sort of showing Trump with his head facing forward to the crowd or to the microphone. That bullseye's straight on, but as soon as he turns his head, boom, ear. Suggesting that he was so close to getting a headshot there. Any commentary on this? This is something.
No,
you
well, I
wanted to-
do want to, this was not obviously footage from the shooter's exact position.
No.
This is being called a model who was filmed from the perspective of a guy who is in the crowd kind of towards the shooter's position. And it's used as just an example of how this could have happened. It's not,
there's a lot of
sort
these, by the way.
scientifically or factual in its presentation. It's just sort of an example of what happened.
Yeah, you do the CGI if you really want to convince everybody.
Yeah.
The 3D mesh type of thing going on. So there you go. I mean, we had a couple. You went on your rant about staging. I think we'll leave it there for right now. We'll see how things unfold over the weekend and come back on Monday. We'll discuss anything that was or wasn't discussed with all the media outlets. So
Stefan David in the chat says, you guys predicted the Tenacious D thing being canceled with the tribute to the disclaimer. That's true. That's true.
It's true.
Once again, we're ahead of the time.
Yeah,
all right, Gons, let's remember and then tell everybody what day it is.
it is Wednesday, my dudes.
It is Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday.
Hey guys, know what day it is? It's Wednesday. It's time for the Canary Cry News Talk. Yeehaw!
Wednesday, my dudes. It is Wednesday, my dudes.
It is Wednesday, my dude.
Really? It's Wednesday. It's hot. It's hot, Gons.
It is hot.
Yeah.
It's a good time for more smoked meats.
Have you been able to entertain a single thought that doesn't have to do with the assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump?
Yeah, of course.
Since Monday?
Of course. Yeah, and spending time with the family and whatnot. There's a lot of ants in my kitchen. Anybody have any ant overflow solutions? It's summertime. It's hot.
Chickens.
These ants are they love to come out and try to explore. I do the best I can to make the entire kitchen counter and the floor spotless. It doesn't matter. They start looking for crumbs or anything.
Yeah.
It's just a disaster. Yeah, if there's
I
a way.
think it's ants are a psyop for sure. I don't think they're real.
The ant psyop. Yeah. I need an Aunt Patsy to tell them to go look elsewhere.
Yeah. Find the queen. That's
Find
all
the
I
queen.
can tell you. Find the queen.
Queen
Kick her out.
Trump ant.
Not much on my side. It's been just a weird time. It's just been a weird time. I don't know. God's doing something in the realm, and I don't know what it is. But it's kind of been one of those couple days where it's like, okay, well, wow, things are totally different, and what am I supposed to be doing about it? Like, what's the plan? What's the thing? What do you want me to do? I don't know. Things are different. How am I supposed to be different? Just sort of those meandering hot summer post assassination attempt, existential dread thoughts. You just gotta figure it out, but day by day here. But you know who is also taking it day by day, making sure this show survives another day? It's the executive producers.
Executive producers.
Yep, we're on the value for value model, folks, which means we don't take any money from corporations, commies, or cartels whatsoever. Value for value, we create as much value as we can, as often as we can, and if it brings any value to your life, you have the opportunity to put some value back in. It is a parallel economy. It is a biblical concept. It is a concept trying to distinctualize ourselves away from the global theology of advertising, of the attention economy, of monetizing your time and attention for our personal gain. You're not a product to be sold to corporations for our own personal gain. Some people want to be a product. There's kind of a weird thing in America where some people, they know that if they become the product, then they get stuff for free, and they don't really care about sort of having their mind taken advantage of. They don't really care about having their, perspective warped to benefit the corporate monoliths. In fact, they kind of prefer it. It's more comfortable. We've been made very comfortable in that little fishbowl of a life that they've made for us. And those are usually the people saying, get a real job. Don't ask for donations. And that's okay. They can do that. And that voice is not making fun of them. That's just literally how they sound. That's just factual. But for those who understand how valuable their minds are, how valuable their attention is, how valuable it is for them to put up a rebel fist in the face of a global beast system, which is trying to not let them live lives as children of God, made in the image of God with free will on this planet, but, kind of consider them a little bit more like cattle and filled with resources to be extracted for mammon. That's the thing. Value for value. If you get value, put it back in. You can do so in a lot of different ways. You can do it with your time, your talent, or your treasure. You can help us out with all sorts of important stuff on the back end. You can help us out with social media or clips or administration stuff. That's extremely helpful, and we have people who do that for us that we couldn't do the show without. If you're interested in that, go to Canary.support. Scroll all the way down to the bottom. You'll see a form. If you fill out that form, that'll help us plug you in in the back end somewhere where you can help out. But if that's not your thing, you can help out with your talent. Maybe you're a musician, maybe you're an artist, maybe you're a fushigi juggler. Whatever is your talent, you can put it towards helping out the show as well. Make some art, make some music, do whatever, and go to canarycry.art and upload it there. We'll feature it on the show and use it to our heart's content. But if time and talent isn't your thing, you can always help out with your treasure, because that is, of course, very important. But we want to make sure everybody knows that value takes many different forms. And unlike the beast system, the value you can bring is much more than just the dollars that you can generate. But your dollars are also extremely helpful, and your Bitcoin, and your Ethereum, and your ballistic wampum. Eh? Bunker folks out there. And you can go to canarycry.support to learn more. I want to give a big shout out to members of the Supply Drop who support the show on a monthly basis, and every quarter they get sent a big old package with custom made producer produced merch. That's very cool. Thank you to the Supply Droppers. You can join this Canary Cry Supply Drop at canarycrysupply.com.
There you go. I got the mug.
He's got the mug. Look at that.
I haven't tested it yet. There were some people. I think Leo posted a picture of hers on X, Twitter. So I'll have
people are posting the magical color changing Canary Cry News Talk mug. It's very
cool. Darren or Sir Dylan did too. So yeah. We got to get those out there.
It's cool stuff, man. I'm telling you. And we have professional artists who design these things, and of course, almost all of it, like 98% or something of this stuff is designed by artists, Canarian artists, produced by Canarian producers. We make almost everything in America, if not manufactured, at least printed in America. And it's, we're just trying to do our part for the parallel economy, not try to give our money to the Chinese or whatever. And you support us, you support the show, as well as supporting other Canarians. So it goes a long way. And there's also the Canary Cry T-Shirt Council, where if you're more into T-shirts, you can go to canarycryt-shirtcouncil.com, sign up to support on a monthly basis, and every quarter you get to vote and decide on that quarter's Canary Cry T-shirt. And boy, oh boy, this quarter's T-shirt is gonna be perhaps the coolest T-shirt that's ever been created. So thank you to the T-shirt members. Go join at canarycryt-shirtcouncil.com. Okay, cool. Executive producers.
Yes. Yeah, just want to mention that part of the value we provide is we come up with new words. I think you said assassination or something.
Yeah.
And then you also, during your rant just now, you said distinctualize ourselves.
Yeah, I like
distinctualize is not a real English word until now. It is now. It is.
Yeah, exactly. All
means
words
to differentiate.
Are made up. Mm-hmm. All words are made up. And who's smarter? The people who know words that have been invented by others, or people who invent their own words?
We do invent a lot of our own words over here.
That's what creates the culture around here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, on top of that, you can produce the show in individual opportunities per single episode. One-time donations are also very helpful. And we've got some producers who came in to support this show, and executive producers as well, making sure we stay alive.
Okay.
The executive producers are those who come in for $100 or more for any individual episode. So we thank them here at the top. Starting out with executive producer, you know him, you love him, Sir Alex Protocol V2, Knight of the Berean Protocol.
Where'd you find this? Bankroll out the bankroll, I spend.
Coming in for $100.33.
33.
Illuminatus!
He's on a 309 episode streak and a 109 episode executive producer streak. Impressive. We almost need a 111 executive producer streak.
Yeah.
We might need to send Jonathan F. a message or somebody. Or perhaps there's a new producer out there listening going,
or maybe this one would work.
One.
Triple ones. Triple ones.
That's your normal triple one jingle.
That's the normal triple one.
Yeah,
but we
might have to spice it up or something.
I like, anyways. Thank you very much, Sir Alex Protocol V2, Knight of the Berean Protocol.
Yep.
We have another executive producer today, and that is Felicia D.
Where'd you find this?
Roll out the bankroll, I spend.
Thank you, Felicia D.
Women rule.
Felicia D comes in with a nice round number. And just as a reminder, if you produce the show financially, if you're coming in with a nice round number, that is you telling us you'd prefer we do not disclose the amount. If you don't mind us disclosing the amount, you make it some sort of funky number, 11 cents, 33 cents, 77, 1, 2, 3, 4. Have some fun with the number. That's you telling us to share it. Thank you very much, executive producer Felicia D.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And again, Felicia D always has the perfect timing because that is the entire list of executive producers today. Thank you very much for that.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
And we only have 2 other producers who came in for today's show, so we'll thank them very quick. Starting with, I believe, Kenny D, Cheryl D, Cheyenne D, Triple D Enterprises, home of the Fort Paddock Under Grace producers. They signed up for another T-shirt council, so that's good. They're going to get 2 T-shirts now.
All right. I think we heard from Kenny that all 3 signed up, and I didn't know if it was 3 in a row or sharing it. Yeah, maybe they're doing it. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Now they're going to share 2. They're going to share 2 shirts among the 3 of them.
Okay.
And of course, we've got the one, the only Elio coming in for $9.11. $9.11.
Elio, thank you, Elio.
And that puts Elio on a 15-episode streak, which I think means Elio's a rocket man.
Rocket man, burning out his fuse out here alone.
That's Rocket Woman.
Rocket Woman. Yeah. Thank you very much to all of our financial producers who came in the amount of $7.77 or more, which entitles you to have a note read on the show. We got some people who came in under that amount. I will thank them now. Just say their name and their streak. Starting with Sir Morv, Now to the Burning Chariots, 14 episodes in a row.
Appreciate it, Sir Morv.
We got Doctor Who Done Dat, 108 episodes in a row.
Doctor Who Done Dat.
We got Mrs. Tinfoil Hat Man, 68 episodes in a row.
Thank you, Mrs. Tinfoil Hat Man.
Got Sir Scott Knight of Truth, 451 in a row.
Sir Scott Knight of Truth. Thank you.
And we got Sir Casey the Shield Knight.
Sir Casey the Shield Knight.
Yep, 458 in a row.
Sir Casey the Shield Knight.
Seems kind of low on some of those repetitive ones today, too.
Yeah, it was.
No Veronica D.
We've had a lot of yes, but of course they have an opportunity to make sure their streak keeps going. I don't know. We've been hearing lots more reports of people's producerships failing on PayPal. People, getting errors, people being not able to produce on PayPal. That's why we do have some other options. But yeah, much like our censorship on YouTube and Twitch and I think even Apple Podcasts is kind of messing with us now. We're just on the list. We're on everybody's list. And no doubt we are on lists that are causing trouble for producers as well. But we endure, and it is God who sustains us. So we'll just keep trying to push through.
Amen. All right. Are we ready to do some flippy?
That's why the monthly producers are so important, by the way.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Let's keep moving here.
Okay.
Flippy update.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Time for a quick Flippy update, folks. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world, and how there's nothing we can do about it. And today, Gons, is also a Beast fashion segment.
Oh, that is true.
Most modeling is kind of acting like a beast, but making it fashion.
Beast.
But then make it fashion.
Beast fashion for the Beast system. This is coming from New York Post. Spray-on sneaker created by robot in 6 minutes will make history at the 2024 Olympics.
Oh yeah, it's the first AI Olympics.
That's true. This is a theme that has been making its way for about a year now. This is being the first sort of robot Olympics, AI Olympics. Robots are involved in all sorts of different ways. And in this case, there's a robot arm, Flippy, He's become a cobbler. He is now a shoe printing robot. Helen Obiri, the Kenyan distance runner and two-time Olympic silver medalist, will make history at the 2024 Paris Olympics thanks to her shoes. Not because of her will,
ability to run,
ability, her endurance, her skill as a human. Not a triumph of the human spirit, but thanks to her shoes. Obiri will be sporting a new sneaker from a sportswear company, On, but it's far from a typical sneaker. Sneakers, Gons! On's Cloud Boom Strike LS is spray-on footwear. Yeah.
Spray Jesus on coming footwear. Back on the cloud. That's what Jesus meant. Coming back on the cloud. He's gonna be wearing some On's Cloud Boom Strike.
They're gonna spray sandals.
Or maybe JC. Yeah.
Yeah. LS stands for Light Spray, the trademark name of the technology used to create the shoes. It works by placing a foot form on the arm of the robot as the shoe's entire upper part is sprayed from a single continuous filament in just 3 minutes, according to Fast Company. The robot arm holds the outsole up to a sprayer as the arm rotates the shoe, and the spray releases thermoplastic polyurethane, a material with characteristics of both plastic and rubber, spiraling the stream as a helix. Hello.
Oh.
It lands as a single continuous string and bonds to the outsole and itself without any glue. Next, the robot arm will pass the shoe along to another robot. Oh no, 2 robots. That sprays it with color. That cures in just 3 minutes. And then the shoes are immediately ready for wearing. This is some real Star Trek level stuff. The robot, you put a foot form there on the robot arm. There's some pictures. And then it sprays basically this like silly spray. What is that stuff? Silly string?
Silly string, yeah.
Silly string on the foot form and just makes a shoe right in front of you.
I thought the person's foot was in there, like the robot arm makes it around the foot, so it's all custom and tailored. That's
originally I thought that was the case too.
Okay, all right,
but apparently not. I'm assuming that the foot form that they use is like a mold of the person's foot.
Sure,
maybe.
Sure.
Quote. Let's see here. They talk about old ways of making shoes. The modern shoemaking is not so modern. It's been the same way forever, basically.
Well, shoemaking, very, because of the Nike situation and child labor, it is kind of a touchy subject if you really start going down that rabbit trail. So maybe this is eradicate child labor thing, politically, to have these robot arms make the shoes instead of children in China.
There's a couple different social elements to this. That is one, definitely. The shoe industry and its child labor laws. Now the shoes are going to get their world debut at Olympics in Paris, though Obiri was initially hesitant, talks about how the athlete was like, this doesn't make any sense. But then she tried it and she loves it. She wouldn't give them back, said the person at the company. When you trust the shoes... When you trust the shoes, you have that mentality like, I'm going to run fast. Trust the shoes, I'm going to run fast. On claims that the technology doesn't just decrease production time, it also reduces 75% of the carbon footprint of the upper production. Of course, that will become a little bit of an issue later on in the article here in a second. Here's a quote. One of the visions was, imagine if you go to a race and you have one of these robots with you, and on race day, if it's wet or dry, the robot sprays you a perfect shoe for the moment, Heights explained. And at the end of the race, you take it off, recycle it, and go to the next race. So like single-use shoes. Sure, 75% of the carbon footprint, but you're just making shoe after shoe after shoe.
But the robot made the shoe.
Yeah.
Environment can wait.
The robot is...
Gaia won't mind.
Changing everything. Right. We're just putting all this filament. Oddly enough, the idea for this kind of production came 4 years ago. Not odd, don't care.
On Halloween, when spirits entered me and whispered instructions into my ear.
Let's see here. The Cloud Boom Strike LS was debuted was the debut of light spray technology. It was first offered for a limited time in April, but it will be available again this fall for $330. Just in time.
33 is the number of completion of the Great War.
City Marathon, Sunday, November 3rd. So 33.
Of course, it's $330.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, and you can get it right before the election on November 3rd.
Oh, because you're going to need custom shoes to run away from something.
Yes, from the Civil War that starts or whatever.
Yeah, that'll be the pitch. You know, hey, when Civil War breaks out, custom Civil War shoes, and then you can throw them back in.
Yeah,
and
use
them again.
3 minutes. Here, this robot will give you shoes in 3 minutes. Throw them away when you're done.
Oh, I know. I know some criminals. They're probably 3. It's got to be faster. I need more than 3 or quicker than 3 minutes. I need it in 1.
Come on, Flippy. Make the shoes faster. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting sort of social issues wrapped up in this. Of course, it is also notable that it's happening with a Kenyan person. So you've got some sort of like racial social justice included here, which Flippy
of course
is very woke.
Yes,
our favorite robotic arm. But again, the Olympics having such a history in the sort of mythology of humanity. You know, it's the best of the best, and in this case, they've been marketing this next Olympics as the AI Olympics, the Robot Olympics. It's still humans, but at every possible turn, they are going to be including robots, because how could humanity ever reach its potential without AI and robotics, Gons? The messaging is very strong.
I know how. With the help of Elon.
You are already sort of a cybernetic symbiote. Neural nets are taking over from regular programming. So you are connected.
It's Newsome science, baby! Ha!
Musk says SpaceX, which is formerly Twitter, moving headquarters out of California over transgender law. So, yeah, I mean, I guess I'm not surprised.
He's been talking about this for years.
Yeah. This was the final straw, apparently. Tech billionaire Elon Musk on Tuesday said he will move the headquarters for his aerospace company, SpaceX, and social media company X out of California after Gavin Newsom signed a bill banning school districts from requiring parents to be notified if their child decides to change their gender identity. Okay, quote.
This is a great story because this kind of combines a few different stories that we needed to cover over the weekend. This bill being signed, which is really it's just crazy, but you consider it's California and you're like, yeah, I guess it's California.
Well,
that makes it that parents don't even need to be notified if their children decide to change their gender. It's just madness.
I think, most people in California don't put their children in public school anymore, I think is the thing right now.
You think so?
Yeah. At least in my area.
Not most. Well, yeah, your area, I suppose.
I don't know, man. I don't. Here's what I've noticed, and this is just an observation. The people that are coming across the border who don't have a whole lot, they're the ones that are putting their children in school or in public school. Sorry. And other people are putting either charter school, which is, a little bit more affordable, or private school or homeschool. It's just everywhere. Nobody trusts the public school system here, and I don't blame them. So,
what a beautiful state you live in, Gons.
I know, I love it. It's great. Newsom is wonderful. Continue with your bill thing there.
Oh, well, that was basically it. But the point being that this was signed sort of in the aftermath of the Trump assassination attempt, so it just slid right through and got missed by a lot of people.
Yeah, and I think it speaks to also Musk's continued pandering to the right and to free speech believers and I don't know, constitutionalists, and using that to springboard the techno-populism or techno-conservatism that is very much apparent in this whole movement. So not much to say about the story other than, Elon finally did it. He's moving out of California.
Yeah. Well, and
surprising.
His quote there that you kind of referenced, he says, quote, "This is the last straw Because of this law and the many others that preceded it, attacking both families and companies, SpaceX will now move its HQ from Hawthorne, California to Starbase, Texas. Starbase must be a corporate town now. Years ago, we reported on the corporatization of municipalities that became legal during the first ICO boom, where corporations can now start their own towns, have their own police stations, have their own schools. This was done during sort of the first crypto thing in 2016, and was a big basis for the network state theories that we talk about a lot, because this literally exists. Make their own laws, make their own police departments, make their own schools. And this is just a taste of the future, where your your geographical country of origin will be way less important than your citizenship in a network state. And yes, obviously, he just took this opportunity to signal to the conservative side of the aisle that, hey, technocracy is cool. I'm your guy. This is going to be a techno-populist conservative movement that brings us into the beast system, not the woke one you thought it was going to be.
Yep. Speaking of which, continuing on in this conversation about this, the politics, the beast system, and the whole deal.
It's Latin for many. Tick. Now suck your blood. Politics.
Speaking of the beast system, beast system.
And family values.
Family values. Yeah, you brought that up at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, it's the technocratic family value populist takeover of the conservative movement, which we are seeing more and more. And J.D. Vance is a huge part of that as well.
Yes, financed by Peter Thiel and the whole apparatus over there. So this is coming from Fox News. Amber Rose claps back at Joy Reid after criticizing convention speech. Stop being a race baiter. So Amber Rose, the Republican National Convention started on Monday. Trump walked out, looked emotional, had the big old Band-Aid on his ear. People cheered, but also a lot of talk coming out of the various groups that make up the Republican Party,
now,
or Republican supporters.
Let's keep in mind, here's the theme. We don't want to bury the lead for anybody here.
Of course.
There's lots of hullabaloo about the RNC, and we're going to talk about some of that. But the canary cry theory here is that the Conservative Party is the effective vehicle for technocracy, for this new golden age, for the beast system, and for possibly bringing us into some prophetic times that are to be found in the Bible. We all thought for many years now that it was going to be the sort of liberal wokeness that puts chips in all of our brains and transcends our humanity, and we become transhuman and technocratic and all these things. But I think that the RNC, along with Elon Musk and a lot of other conservative influences, are doing a great job of pulling a fast one on a lot of people here. There is some hullabaloo for a couple of reasons. Which one did you want to start with, Gon?
Let's do the Amber Rose thing first, because we got some clips here.
Amber Rose, for those who don't know, she identifies herself as a model and an entrepreneur. She's somebody who...
Scary picture coming for
she's
those
a
kids
fashion...
watching.
Yes. Oh, why don't you save that one? That's a scary one, because that'll make the point here in a second.
Okay.
I don't actually know. Ask your kids. Ask maybe your grandkids who Amber Rose is. But she's sort of an influencer type person, model, maybe a musician. I'm not actually really sure. But lots of pictures exist of her everywhere. Who knows? I don't even know the nature of all the pictures that she has. But popular with the youngins. She does have a face tattoo. So that means something, Gons. We've been talking about face tattoos since the days of SoundCloud. Now we've got face tattoos speaking at the RNC. Yes. And she gave a speech, a presentation. Her very presence was very offensive to a lot of people because she is not someone who you would expect to show up at the RNC or to be affiliated with the conservative movement whatsoever. However, that is what makes her presence even more powerful. She made a 5-minute and something speech people are blowing up about because, yes, she is a secular icon, maybe promoting values that a lot of people don't really agree with. However, she had a pretty clear theme with her speech at the RNC. Let's play this first clip here.
My name is Amber Rose. I'm a model and entrepreneur. Thank you. But most importantly, I'm a mother. My whole world revolves around providing for my children, keeping them safe, and giving them an opportunity for a better life. That's something that unites all American parents, whether we're Republicans, Democrats, conservatives, or liberals. We all want a better country for our children. But I'm here tonight to tell you, no matter your political background, that the best chance we have to give our babies a better life is to elect Donald Trump president of the United States.
Family values, baby. It's kind of got that Elon Musk style. Kids are the only thing that matters. You look at this person, she looks like some sort of model, movie star. Oh, here we go. Rapper, television personality. She starred in this music video for Young Jeezy's Put On, which featured Kanye West. Okay. All right. A lot of stuff here. But she opens up her speech with, hey, I'm a mom. That's the most important thing to me. And for my children's sake, we got to vote Donald Trump. Now,
interesting.
The interesting part of it is we've talked about how Gen Z is moving conservative in a way that no other young generation has ever done in basically the history of the United States. Gen Zs, however, are still majority liberal, but a bigger percentage of Gen Z are moving conservative than ever before. Because why? Because it's rebellious. It's the rebellious thing to do. It's the way to stick it to your Gen X liberal blue-haired mom. Becoming conservative has a lot of benefits, especially in the male subset of Gen Z, because, you know, they're the ones who have been told that they're bad and should not accomplish anything and not care about anything, and that they should let other people rule the world. And, you know, Gen Z young men are having a hard time with that. And so why not get a traditionally attractive, depending on what you think about face tattoos, young famous woman to speak at the RNC? I mean, this is a very powerful move for Republicans. Some might think that it's not quite lined up with the image that Republicans would like to put out there, especially considering this extremely spooky picture of Amber Rose for some reason. I don't know what the purpose of this image is. If you want to show it, Gons, hide your eyes. It's kind of spooky. It is censored, so there's, you know, she's got this very demonic picture. This is the one that everybody's spreading around to, you know, show how upset they are about this. She's got sort of demon, big, long fingernails, blood dripping down her. Her underpants say God's favorite on them. Very spooky image. Don't look at it for too long. It will scare you in your dreams. That's sort of the image that people are using to say, hey, RNC, what the heck are you doing? However, when she's getting up there and she's talking, famous person, famous, not traditionally conservative person, talking about being a mother, talking about for the sake of the children, you got to vote for Trump. But this next clip, I think, might be one of the most powerful clips to affect Gen Zs who stumble across, maybe through the algos or whatever, Amber Rose making a speech talking about how she became a Republican.
The first person I knew who supported Donald Trump was my father. I was shocked. My entire family is racially diverse. And I believed the left-wing propaganda that Donald Trump was a racist. My father said, "No, he's not, Amber. What are you talking about?" And when I insisted, he said, "Prove it." So to prove my father wrong, I did my research and looked into all things Donald Trump. People have to do their research. I watched all the rallies, and I started meeting so many of you, his red hat wearing supporters. I realized Donald Trump and his supporters don't care if you're black, white, gay, or straight. It's all love.
Is this love? Is this love? Sorry.
So, you know, to a degree, this is not a bad message. This is a message that has sort of...
Yeah. Do research. It's a good
yeah,
message.
Do your own research. Look, I was a, you know, Hollywood insider, liberal, thought Trump was racist and et cetera, et cetera. And my dad told me to do my own research, and I did. And it turns out MAGA are my people. Jacob M in the chat says, I bet she has a great relationship with her father. I don't know if that was sarcastic or not, but a part of the speech that I didn't bring is not clipped here. She really does have a very good relationship with her father. She was like, my dad was in the military. Thank you, Dad, for your service. Thank you for raising me. Thank you. I love you, Dad. Like, obviously, you look at this person and you know that she has had a complicated and strained relationship with her father. But this idea that of reconciliation with her father, maybe with or at least connected to in some way her realizations about Trump and the conservative movement. I mean, this is to a degree. I think that there are Gen Zs out there who have been told that patriarchy is bad, dads are bad, males are bad, your parents shouldn't be told if you want to change gender, your dad just wants to hold you down, blah, 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 blah. And for Amber Rose to come out and say such ingratiating things about her father and how doing her own research made her a Trump supporter, this is a very powerful set of messaging politically for the Republican Party. Now, she comes from a sort of culture where transhumanism is the thing. That photo that we showed earlier has transhumanism and occult themes in it. That is, as we know, a ruling sort of ideology of the mainstream culture. And, you know, I don't think it's a coincidence that we also see the RNC, the official Republican Party, sort of embracing the technocracy ideals. However, unlike the sort of woke attempt at transhumanism technocracy, it's this populist conservative version that I think is going to be the most effective. One last clip here. This was on CNN, and there's some CNN comments at the end of this clip. So this is on cable CNN. This was broadcast. Let's see what they say.
The left told me to hate Trump, and even worse, to hate the other side, the people who support him. When you cut through the lies, you realize the truth. American families were better when Donald Trump was president. We were safer, wealthier, and stronger. A vote for Donald Trump is a vote to put money back in our pockets and good food on our kids' plates.
These kinds of voices, I heard some grousing about this from some of the conservative. This is how you change the composition of the electorate.
That was probably the most dangerous speak for the Democratic coalition. That is a young woman of color. She's describing the experience that a lot of people have, feeling that maybe if you're around too many liberals, you might get criticized too much, or you might not be able to speak your mind. And she spoke to it really well. And she's way more famous than any of us up here.
It was Van Jones at the end there, Mr. Nothing Burger.
Yeah.
Wasn't a nothing burger to him. It was major hit for the Democrats.
Yeah.
Amber Rose switching teams and making sense up there on the stage.
Yeah. So, I mean, what you have Amber Rose doing now, remember, there's different ways to look at it. There's spiritual ways to look at it. There's political ways to look at it. And politically specifically, I mean, this is a very politically powerful moment, a moment that which a lot of Christians are kind of upset with just because of who Amber Rose is. But you listen to her speech, it's family values, patriarchy, love it, give it, do your own research, the media lies, it's all there. As well as, what was that last one she talked about? American families were better when Trump was president.
More
It's
money in your
all-
pockets.
It's all about the family. It's this very, very sort of wholesome family values thing, which I think is going to be pretty effective, not only for bringing some people into the fold politically to the Republican Party, but also, promoting reconciling with your dad, promoting becoming a mother. I mean, she talks about being a mother and how that's like the most important thing to her, which is very countercultural. She is still all this to say that the Republicans are really putting out there that they are the counterculture, which is a point that's, been made, but not one that's been fully accepted by the society at large. But this is a great example about how conservatism has become counterculture. And I don't think a lot of conservatives are really reckoning with what this means for the future of the party.
Well, it's also exposing, say, the especially the folks who may be conservative, right-wing, Republican, whatever, who are also Christians, because a lot of the people who are mad about this were Republican Christians or Christians who are Republicans. It's not other Republicans or secular Republicans, if you will.
No.
So it is very interesting. And to that point, to the outrage of
well, real quick, just a quick mention. Sorry, before you move on to the next topic, the RNC obviously with this move is going a long way to divert the criticism of Christian nationalism.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. The whole accusation about Trump is going to lead the Christian nationalism thing with the right and reunify church and state. It does put a little bit of a wrench in that narrative that a lot of the mainstream is trying to paint, at least of the Republican Party. So, so there was another part. There was part two to the whole RNC, I don't know, aftermath, chaos, whatever you want to call it. And this one had to do with a Sikh prayer. Sikh as in the religion, the Sikh religion, the Hindu religion. I'm going to play the minute 25 clip. And we have some, I think we got some exclusive commentary on some of this.
Yeah, our boots on the ground. I asked them about this.
Okay, so let's play the clip. It's about a minute and a half. It's going to, you'll see it.
Dear Waheguru, our one true God, we thank you for creating America as a unique haven on this earth where all people are free to worship according to their faith. We seek your blessings and guidance for our beloved country. Please bless our people with wisdom as they vote in the upcoming election, and please bless with humility, honesty, skill, and integrity all those who conduct the election. Finally, we thank you for the Chardi Kala spirit that we have witnessed in President Trump. That is, the tireless and uplifting spirit that is sustained even in the face of violent adversity, like a founding father centuries ago. And we thank you, dear God, for protecting his life. We thank you for his examples of nirbha, fearlessness, and nirvair, the absence of hate when faced with vitriol. These examples of extraordinary calm inspire us. Nanak Naam Chardi Kala Tere Bane Sarbatta Pala. May your name forever be exalted, spreading happiness and blessings and good spirit, that everyone may prosper and enjoy the grace of your peace. Thank you.
There you go. That is the clip.
So this was another thing that raised a lot of concerns, of course. Just to jump right into our boots on the ground here, I just sent a little message to say, hey, you got any insider context for the prayer by the Sikh woman? This is something we want to take a look at. And our boots on the ground said, yes, I was. That's Harmeet Dillon, That was the second choice for RNC chairwoman, the more grassroots option against Ronna McDaniel before she resigned. So this is actually a sort of at least was potentially a high level person in the RNC. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, they brought in some person to just kind of pander, kind of like the WEF. They just go find like a shaman or a witch or whatever to open up their thing. This Harmeet Dillon, she's actually a very active member of the RNC. So they did not just go out and find some Sikh off the thing. She's, so the case can be made that this is like, oh, kind of representative of the people there or something. The boots on the ground continues. It was very uncomfortable. Gave me shivers and the vibe in the room went cold. Many responded by simply ignoring her and talking over it. I had one eye on the teleprompter, so I was able to read her translation, and it seemed benign as far as that goes. Several of my church-attending state peers brought that up afterwards and wished it hadn't happened, then expressed their gratitude that she didn't win the chairwoman position. It was both preceded and followed by Christian prayers, if I remember correctly. Thank you very much to our producer on the ground there. And yeah, so this was, kind of part of the RNC where they were doing lots of prayers from a lot of different people, a lot of different groups there, preceded and followed by Christian prayers. I saw many, actually, videos of those Christian prayers as well. And this, as is to be expected, caused another explosion with Republicans online, guys. And a lot of it comes from, this is kind of a part of what we feel sort of responsible to do here, not necessarily trying to change anybody's mind about things like this, but as an example of why you can't just get your news from Twitter, because it's not always so correct. Who is this from, Guns?
R. Thompson A on Twitter.
Okay.
They actually tagged some people. I think this was sort of a summary retweet of a few people that she saw responding to this. One of them is, so the RNC had everyone pray to this pagan Hindu god Waheguru yesterday, and my friend on X Googled it.
Oh.
This is what it is. And of course, it's the image of a lion god with multiple arms. It's Vishnu with a lion face, basically. Without the blue skin, it's like a golden skin version of Vishnu. We'll talk about him in a second here.
Pretty classic, sort of Far East looking deity.
Yeah.
Face of a lion, about a dozen arms, a bunch of snakes.
Multiple snake heads. Yeah. Okay, so there's another one here. So I Googled this pagan Hindu god that was prayed to by the RNC, and here is an image depicting it. Again, the same image of this lion thing. And then the RNC featured a prayer to a demon. Did anyone turn their backs? Did anyone leave the room? I know they will not be expecting a vote from me. I cannot vote this year. Not Democrat demons and now mentally ill demonic Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and they all, I saw a lot of, this is just one example. Everybody saying that Waheguru is this lion-faced god, this Sikh god.
And before we jump into Waheguru, let's say we understand. We
Yeah,
are
of course.
Christians.
Totally.
We worship God alone, the Father in heaven, Jesus, his Son, and the Holy Spirit. That is, we are well aware of the pantheon of spirits who are to be avoided, the demons, the
principalities, the watchers.
Principalities,
Yeah.
the powers, the Nephilim, everybody, so we're aware of that. But we're not really sure where these people are getting any of this information. So Waheguru was the only name that was mentioned in this prayer.
Well, I think she mentioned a few other things, but Waheguru was the first one she mentioned, and sort of sounded like God, the Lord.
Well, this
type
is the
of
one
thing.
that, there were some other words that mean other stuff. They were not references to a deity.
Right.
Waheguru was the only reference to a deity that she made. And we go, wow, Waheguru. Okay, let's Google it. Let's look it up. Let's see what kind of other images. And you Google Waheguru, And it's all just a guy with a beard. There's no crazy lion demon. There's nothing.
Yeah, it's a guy with a beard. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's just
noticed
a
that
guy with a
too.
beard. Okay, we go, okay, well, what the heck is this Wahoo Guru thing? And where are these people basically just had to have made all this up. As
Or
far
just
as,
not
like,
very good at Googling.
I mean,
or
we
Chat
tried.
GPT'd something.
Yeah, we tried to find this
We
image.
tried. Well, I actually did. Yeah, we did a reverse image search on the image that was shared around, and of course the origins are Etsy, X, Instagram, and none of them labeled Wahoo Guru. All of them,
Yeah.
you know, different Lord Narashima, Sri Sri Narishma.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Like there's no reference to.
And there's also
Wahoo.
a pretty easy whoopsie daisies they made. And, you know, I'm not an expert in Far East religions, but they all say Hindu god, pagan Hindu god, pagan Hindu god, Hindu. Well, this woman's a Sikh, which is from the same area, and they certainly have some things in common. But Wahoo Guru literally means wow guru, figuratively translated to mean wonderful God or wonderful Lord, is a term used in Sikhism to refer to God as described in Guru Granth Sahib. It is the most common term to refer to God in modern Sikhism. So
Okay.
Wahoo Guru is basically the word like they use for like Lord. You know, it's not God's name necessarily. It's just something you call God, Wahoo Guru. Now, there's a lot of words in here that I'm sure, you know, people want explanations on. The word guru itself, things like that.
Yeah.
Which they, you know, the wiki actually breaks all of it down. Guru means God, basically, but also teacher or spiritual guide, whatever. She's saying Wahoo Guru. She was not necessarily referring to any individual deity. In fact, Sikhism is much more like a monotheistic religion than Hindu. Sikh is much more related to Christianity and Judaism and Islam in that they believe in like one God. They worship one God. They don't.
It's a monotheistic religion. It's monotheism. Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of the thing. Unlike Hinduism, which has thousands of them, and they all are different variants of very scary
pantheistic.
animals with snakes rising up out of them.
Right.
So, you know, I don't know. Look, you don't have to like a Sikh praying at the RNC, but it's just kind of cringy when people. I don't know if they made it up or they just are really bad
I think it's
at
just
looking
bad.
into things.
Because here's the deal. We did do the reverse search on the image, and again, we found some different things, but I did nail down the actual name of the deity. It's Narasimha in Sanskrit, man-lion, sometimes rendered Narasingha, is a fourth avatar of the Hindu god Vishnu.
Yeah.
He's believed to have incarnated in the form of part lion, part man, being to kill Hiranyakashipu to end religious persecution and calamity on earth, thereby restoring Dharma.
Okay.
So yeah, there is a deity. There's a deity form in Hinduism that is a lion face that devours and restores and fearless and all that
But
kind
it
of
has
stuff.
nothing to do with this lady. This lady did not mention this deity.
I don't think so.
It is not even the same religion as that
different
deity.
religion.
It's a Sikh. It's a monotheistic religion. Anyways, I don't know. You don't have to like Sikhs praying at the RNC. However, I think the fact that it was, you know, kind of this high-level RNC person, you know, just going for like representation of her and her fellow Sikhs. You know, it's the RNC again, sort of trying to recreate this image to divert the idea that it's all about Christian nationalism, that it's all about Project 2025. And with the recent explosion of the PSYOP of Project 2025, where Christian nationalism is going to kill us all or whatever, you know, in a PR perspective, get a Sikh up there. It's a monotheistic religion. You can have her pray. Oh, get Amber Rose up there talking about family values. We got to break this idea of Christian nationalism and Project 2025. Of course, the RNC is it's a show, it's theater, it's a political unit. It's not a church, it's not a temple, it's not a religious institution. And I think when Christians getting really, really hyped up about this kind of stuff, like the people, saying they're not going to vote now because of a mistaken identity of this person praying to something else. It feels like those Christians are treating the Republican Party as a religious institution. It's not a religious institution. God is totally separate from republicanism. Your faith should have,
how dare you?
Believe it or not. I mean, people can get angry for whatever reason they want. It's much better to get angry for reasons that are true than reasons that are not true. But when a Christian really blows up about this, it just tells me that they are too religiously invested in politics.
Yeah. And, it's a really bad look for just Christians in general when by the way, just real quick on Amber Rose, people are talking about Amber Rose is a reference to Ambrosia, which was the startup that was harvesting the blood of young people. Remember that from 6-7 years ago? This is on The Guardian, by the way. It's not like some random blog. This is The Guardian talking about Ambrosia, the company, the startup harvesting the blood of the young. And, all the adrenochrome rumors about Amber Rose being associated with Ambrosia. But anyway, you have Amber Rose up there saying, I did my research, and then you have the Sikh woman pray or, mention some words from her religion. And these Christians who said they did research, a Google search, are getting it totally wrong.
Right.
It's just a bad look. It's just a bad look.
Bad optics for Republican Christians.
Yeah. So just, and you can kind of look at it a couple different ways. I mean, I know a lot of the people that were upset, they're saying this doesn't belong in the Republican National Convention. What is this? Blah, blah, blah. This is the one world religion, da, 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 da. Or if you're sort of more of the, I don't know, a different perspective on it, you can say, oh, this is good. You can draw people of many faiths or many whatever into the RNC. It's a political thing, but then
they don't care what faith is represented politically.
I know, but I'm saying
for the voters.
For the Christians, you can say get all these people into the RNC, and then they can learn about the truth of the gospel through the Christians. But if you're Christian and you're putting up information that's not necessarily accurate as research, and being proud of a Google search, not a great look.
Yeah.
If a Sikh person was trying to learn more about Christianity, because a lot of Christians seem to be RNC or Republican or whatever, and that's what they find, it's not going to be good. So anyway, I'm just.
Like I said, nobody has to like the Sikh person praying at the RNC. Just remember that the RNC is not your church. The Republican Party is not your church. It's not a religious organization, and don't treat it as that. I mean, you're just not going to have fun. You're just going to get rageful.
I did see a sentiment out there that over the weekend, if your pastor didn't mention the Trump assassination attempt on Sunday, you need to change churches. I saw that out there. What do you think about that, Basil?
I have a hard time believing that a pastor wouldn't mention it.
Me too, but also if he didn't, I wouldn't be like, I'm out of here. He didn't talk about the thing,
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That's this big trap that really, and it's not even, it's difficult for us. It's difficult for me because, like I said, it's totally natural, and I totally encourage anybody to want the political structure of their country to be aligned with their religious beliefs. That's totally normal, totally cool. But there is a line where you start treating politics as a replacement for your spiritual community or something, where I think it's much more effective to I'm not even saying separate religion and politics, not even really doing that. I'm just saying, hey, let's have a level head about this. Let's make sure, we have all our facts straight, and then remember that the politicians, it's all theater, baby. We might be in it for good reasons. You might be in it for good reasons. Everybody might be in it for legit, authentic reasons. But the point of politics is to get as many voters as possible. It's not to, it's not to make a church service for anybody.
Yep. Man, this is.
Anyways, all that to say, well, to roll that all back into one. It's the Republican Party going interfaith. It's the Republican Party going for that one world religion. It's the Republican Party going technocracy, transhumanism. All wrapped up in a beautiful family values, conservative values thing. You see a striking difference, or maybe a striking merging rather, of sort of the aesthetics and the principles. The aesthetics of maybe popular culture, the aesthetics of globalism, honestly. It's sort of the aesthetics of globalism being wrapped up in conservative values. And we're moving into this era where just perhaps, the RNC will do enough to take the presidency, take Congress, take the Senate, and create this sort of image, and not just image, but become the operating force in the sort of end times technocracy, transhumanist future that we know is inevitable, because one by one, we're seeing the sort of kings or principalities or whatever of the technocratic, dystopian future becoming more and more important, more and more out front, and more vocal about conservatism. We're just moving into a very strange time, and just don't be shocked by it, because this is all part of the plan. We've seen this coming for a while.
Yeah, Elon Musk was sort of the starter. He had that upside down cross Antichrist outfit, but he's a conservative, and he supports free speech and all these things. And now it's just
doesn't want
happening
children
more and more.
getting transed.
Right.
But he'll dress up like the Antichrist for Halloween.
Right. Okay, let's do some speak pipe here.
Okay.
Please leave a message after the tone.
At the tone, please record your message.
Leave a message. Beep.
Message.
Go to canarycrynewstalk.com. On any of the pages, look for a green tab on the right side or the bottom. Click on it. It'll open up a little box that allows you to record an audio message to us of up to 90 seconds through your device. If it's a private message, let it be private. Let us know at the top. If you have something to say to the public or the Canarium, you can do that there as well. We also like boots on the ground reports. Cameos from celebrities or athletes are always welcome. Meetup reports are always great. Got a couple of them today. First of all, thank you to Anthony H. for the pre-show prayer. I played both of them. I accidentally played the one from last episode first. So that's why for those listening live, you heard Anthony H. pray twice. Double the prayers at the beginning of the show. And he also sent a second one. I'm not going to play it, but he did mention that he's been having some strange dreams now that we mentioned dreams in yesterday's X Spaces. Anthony H. said he had been noticing some interesting dreams. So something to note, and prayers for protection over your sleeping mind there, Anthony H. But we appreciate your pre-show prayers. We got something here from Sir Ike.
Hey, Canary family, this is Sir Ike here. I am getting ready to announce the winner of the first of the rating and review giveaway. This one I'm giving away today is an extra supply drop from this past quarter donated by Sir Jamie. So I'm pulling up a random number generator right now, and the winner of this one is Stephen D. Stephen D, you have won an extra supply drop. I will be sending you an email here shortly, and so I can get a mailing address for where to send that to. Also, for everybody out there, there's going to be one more mega box that I'm getting ready to give away probably next week. And to just give everybody an idea of what's in it, I have a New World Order Fantasy League tumbler. I have a packet of coffee. I believe I have the notebook. I think there's a calendar in there. I have Age of Deceit 1, 2, and 3 inside of here. Age of Deceit 1 is almost completely gone. So this is going to be one of the last chances you get to have your hands on this version of Age of Deceit 1 on DVD. I've got Project Wormicorn. I've got some CDs. I've got the coffee mug from this past quarter. I can barely close the lid on this thing. So if you guys want a chance at winning that, leave a rating and review on whatever podcatcher you use and screenshot that and send it to me at canarychristsupply.drop@gmail.com, and I'll get you on the list. Thanks.
Wow, that sounds
Thank you very much,
great.
Sir Ike.
Yeah. Go leave ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts and other places, folks, because you can get Age of Deceit 1, 2, and 3. People are always asking how they can get their hands on that. Well, here's a good chance for you.
Yep. We got another message from the Sentinel.
By the way, email it, sorry, just so people know. Email it to canarychristsupply@gmail.com.
Yep. Sentinel had a message on Monday. I don't know what happened. We didn't play it, but he tells us that, and then he summarizes what he said on Monday.
Hey, Basil and Gons and Canary Cray family, it's the Sentinel. I left a voice message for Monday's show, but I don't think it made it through. I've actually had that happen a couple times, so if there's anybody else who is leaving speak pipes and they're not getting aired on the show, it might be a problem with the speak pipe platform itself. Anyways, what I was talking about on Monday and what I wanted to bring to the community today was the idea that the time stampers or any of our time producers could actually be credited a financial amount to their knighthood or their damehood or their baron or baroness title based off however much the volunteer work or the service that they're doing would cost the show if they didn't do it. So if we have a time stamper who faithfully timestamps every third episode, and normally that would cost Basil and Gons, you guys, $10 to do yourselves or to have somebody else do, then every third show they're credited $10 to their baronhood or to their knighthood. But I think most of them would be like way past that by now. Anyways, it might not go for like art producers because that's more culture, but all those people who are doing something on the back end that's critical to the show running, and that would cost money otherwise. Anyways, just a thought, and I'd love to hear what you guys think. Love y'all, and God bless.
Thank you, Sentinel.
Yeah, this has been an ongoing thing for many years, many years. We haven't done that because it's just a lot of tracking. I mean, it's like we would need an entirely new person to just track that kind of stuff. Not that it's a bad idea. It's certainly one that we've considered. And then, pricing people's labor is not easy. There's kind of a lot of things. I don't think we're morally opposed to it. It's just a very complicated thing, and somebody would really need to take that over because we do not have the ability nor the life force to do what it would take to do that.
Yeah. Yep.
But it's true. I mean, people who come in with their time and talent, they are often the hardest working people, bringing the most value to the show. And what's happened in the past is a group of producers will recognize the work somebody's doing, and then they will produce the show to sort of
on their behalf or something.
Donate their knighthood for a producer to recognize them, which has been very meaningful in the past. To actually have your peers recognize your work and come together and do like a dame drive or a knight drive or something to get you to damehood. I mean, that's also very this is very impactful, very sort of community generating and affirmative of the work that you're doing.
Yeah. And I would recommend everybody who's doing stuff in the back end to keep track, because you never know how we might decide to implement something later. But for sure, it's a good idea if you are supporting the show in any way to keep track of how many times you've submitted something or done some art or something like that. So
yeah, it's usually pretty.
It'd be hard
easy
for us to keep track of everything. That's for sure. So.
Yeah. No, everybody's responsible for their own accounting across the board. That's for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Real quick here, we're going to take just a moment to thank a couple people for their art, and then I'm going to pull an audible, Basil. We're going to cover a quick story at the end, and then we'll call it a show.
Sounds good.
We got a couple pieces of art to share, so here we go.
Audio Productions. Please.
Yes, this is art. People coming in and helping to build the culture behind the community here at Canary Cry News Talk, and you can do that with your art, jingles, music, whatever you want. First, audio production. We got Little Owen sent us a song, and his note here. This is a song based on Psalm 73. What is it? I don't know what that word is. Something. You ever catch yourself becoming envious of the foolish and their prosperity, don't forget to go into the sanctuary of God. Oh, if you ever catch yourself becoming envious of the foolish and their prosperity, don't forget to go into the sanctuary of God. So very good. We will. I almost want to save the whole thing for the end, just because we're close to the end. Is that okay, Basil? Do you think Little Owen will be okay with that, or do you think?
Oh, it's up to you. I don't really know. You want to play the whole thing at the end, or you want to play it now?
I do. I want to play the whole thing at the end.
That's fine.
It's about 5 minutes, 6 minutes long, so it's kind of a longer one. We'll play the whole thing at the end of the show here. It'll be the one track that we play. So stay tuned for that. And then we got one more thing to play, which is show actually. This is from Dame Miss G Beauty of the OV and the Deep Rivers. Sorry, I said that weird. And she had a note. She says, "Hello, my Canary boys. I heard the Basil, 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 You're My Boo-Boo song and had to commemorate it with art.
Yeah.
It was too funny. It was a show I was listening to before I went to sleep and woke up with it in my head the next day. I also have been singing it to my family and nieces all week." Oh, wow.
That's so funny.
Honestly, slowly getting better at digital art. I had to add in your 2 emus. Do they have names? I hope you guys have a great show and hope you enjoy the art. Many blessings, Dame Miss G.
That's very funny. This is in the 8.5 by 11 format, so you can kind of think of it like a magazine cover or like a notebook cover or something like that. And it's got a teal background. Basil, 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 You're My Boo-Boo, written down in sort of very fun fonts. Very colorful fonts. There's pink hearts floating around everywhere. We've got one emu poking in from the right-hand side, another emu poking in from the left-hand side. Very cute, looking straight at the camera. Of course, there's a rendition of me down there. Got big VR headset with googly eyes with hearts for pupils. This is really good. Thank you very much, Dame Miss G Beauty.
Yeah, and I remember.
Kind of reminds me of like a '90s
cartoon,
schoolgirl crush notebook type of thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Miss G Beauty used to do or has done quite a bit of hand drawing.
Yes,
but this one looks like she's going into the digital realm there. So
yep, she's doing it. It looks
good.
Great.
Looks
You're
good.
Doing great.
Yeah. Fantastic. And that's it for the artists today. We don't have a microfiction or anything.
Yep.
So if you'd like to submit some art, go to canarycry.art and you can submit a piece of art there. And let's see, I'm just trying to get to canarycry.art just so people can see it. And then there's a little button that says, click here to upload art. Click on it and do it. Upload your art. And then also go to canarycry.report. If you'd like to submit an article that we will consider for the show. We're heading towards the end of the episode here, Basil. I want to pull a little audible. I know we were supposed to talk about the drones and a laser, but something just broke, and I want to talk about it real quick.
Can't wait.
Armageddon's on the way.
Come on, Jingle Board. Come on.
Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs.
It's so glitchy. Come on. Here we go. I need the Jingle Board to work.
It's Corona time.
COVID-19, COVID-19, COVID-19,
COVID-19.
COVID-19, COVID-19.
Oh.
Coronavirus, CNN, breaking news. President Joe Biden has tested positive for COVID-19.
Wow. This is his sympathetic moment. He needed a way to be sympathetic after the Trump assassination attempt.
He's going to get a shot, a different kind of shot.
Yeah. He's fully vaccinated though, so he should be fine. I saw it on TV. I saw it.
President Joe
TV.
Biden tested positive for COVID-19 on Wednesday, is experiencing mild symptoms, according to the White House. He's going to die. Biden, 81, tested positive following his first event in Las Vegas, where he was expected to later speak at the Unidos U.S. annual conference. The president's doctor said Biden has received his first dose of Paxlovid and will be self-isolating at his home in Roboth Beach, Delaware, in line with the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention guidance. Quote, the president presented this afternoon with upper respiratory systems to include rhinorrhea or runny nose and non-productive cough with general malaise. And general malaise, I think, was there probably before the COVID.
I think
positive.
he's just generally malaise.
Generally malaise,
General malaise. He is the embodiment of general malaise.
A note from Biden's doctor provided by White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said, quote, he felt okay for his first event of the day, but given that he was not feeling better, point-of-care testing for COVID-19 was conducted, and the results were positive for the COVID-19 virus.
Wow.
He's
Wow. Well,
got
okay,
the
so
virus.
this is either how they are taking him out, or this is how that he just needs a break. Like, he needs an excuse.
He needs
He's
a
too
longer
tired.
break than he's
He needs a couple
already
weeks
done.
to just chill. He can't keep flying to Vegas to speak at the Unidos conference. They're just like, please, God, give me a break. I just want to go home.
He said, didn't he say in his big boy conference, he's like, my people keep adding things to my schedule. And it's like, you're the president of the United States. Of course your schedule is going to be packed.
It was funny. They
What
asked
are
him,
you
like,
expecting?
it sounds like you're so tired, and how are you going to keep up the pace? Is that good enough to be president? And he goes, yeah, I'm better than ever. I feel great. I'm going. And they just keep giving me more things. They keep
I know, he's starting
sending me
to
more.
kind
He's
of
like
like-
switches in the middle to like, please stop it. I just want to rest.
Oh,
Or this is
man.
how they switch him out for Kamala, right in time. I mean,
Right in time.
it at least keeps him out of the public eye. It could
For
be
a
that
few
it's just
days. Yeah.
they just got to keep him out of the public eye. They can't handle any more gaffes getting this close, something like that.
I was able to grab a couple of these here.
I had a bad night.
That was really loud.
That was
That was
a loud one.
really, really loud. Yeah.
Where are you? No one's saying that. No one's saying that. No poll says that.
It's from last week.
Wow.
We can add to the list.
Okay. Well, good luck to President Joe Biden with the COVID. I'm sure you'll be fine. I hope you're fine. I hope.
Very
nothing bad.
convenient time for the president to have to isolate
Yeah.
from everybody.
Incredible time. It's almost like it was planned beforehand. And
I
this
want
is just
to
good
see a
excuse.
Kamala. I want a Kamala test run. I want her to address the nation.
I think that's what it is.
You think it's coming?
He's gonna go chill. She's gonna come out, start doing all his campaign stops.
Right.
Start doing the
Just
interviews.
to see how it looks. Right.
Yeah,
And then
just to
if
see
it's
how
not
it
looking
looks.
good for her, Michelle Obama's going to come out of the back and smack her in the face and take the mic.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Jeez Louise. Well, the thing is, we know that something's gonna happen. They have to do something. We don't know what exactly they're gonna do, but we are guaranteed more surprises. And this is just the
This
first.
is a joke. Really, they pulled out the COVID card. Huh? It sounds like they're just using whatever they can to scare Joe. Like, who knows? He
Yeah.
probably didn't even test positive. They're probably like, Joe, you tested positive for COVID. And he was like, oh, no, I better go lay down and go
probably
isolate
just
in my house.
Put him in a home. They probably just put him in a home without even telling him.
That's
He's
true. And
sit-
then just told everybody else that he's
He's
told the
just
public
sitting
he has COVID.
somewhere in a rocking chair with a blanket over his legs. He doesn't even realize that he's president and needs to be doing stuff. He's just taking it easy.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Well, there you go.
Okay. Big news. There you go. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Thank you to all the producers of all the different stripes. I would encourage y'all to pray about the kind of value that this show brings to your life, maybe in the past, maybe right now, maybe in the future, whatever it is. And consider joining one of our programs. The Canary Cry Supply Drop would be a great one, or the Canary Cry T-Shirt Council. That would be awesome, too. Go to canarycrysupply.com or canarycryt tshirtcouncil.com. And thank you to all of our artists and producers of all stripes, including those who make sure to keep this show running with their time, like the Clippies.
Clipping all those videos. Thanks.
Yep, they're clipping the show. The clips just keep piling up. We got to get those clips out there. Get the clips out there. Thank you, Courtney S. Jones and Kristen, for clipping the show. Really means a lot and really helps us out.
Yep.
And now for the timestampers.
Timestamp, it's hard work. Timestamp.
Timestampers, the honorable, the venerable timestampers who are doing work that nobody even really realizes is being done. But if it weren't being done, you would know it. Thank you. Who did the timestamps for 757?
Jade Bouncerson, thank you. That was a doozy of an episode, 4.5 hours. Appreciate the timestamps for that one.
Very impressive. Thank you, Jade Bouncerson. Thank you to Jam for the links. Thank you to Joe for the feedback. Thank you to Clank for clanking. Other than that, share the show, folks. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Share it with everybody you can. This show is censored and shadow banned across the internet. The only way that new people find the show is word of mouth, as well as the posting and sharing of the individuals who are Canarians as we speak. So share the show with whoever you think just needs a little bit of a wake-up call. But you can share it in any way you want. Usually people like to share the show in a unique way that displays the talents and gifts that the Lord has given them. So perhaps you could get...
Just 2 episodes in a row where you kind
move your headquarters. Move your headquarters. I don't know. Move your headquarters out of California. And when people ask why, you say, well, California is the last straw. They shadow banned Canary Cry News Talk. And our children just can't do that. Our generations are being lost. And the only way to save the future of America is to move our children out of California and into Canary Cry News Talk. It's good for the kids. Good for the kids. But other than that, we call it rattling cages. And all you got to do is walk right up to them, grab them by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
Human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right, just ask Noah. Gons, you got any last words?
No, thank you for being here. Oh, tomorrow is the anniversary of The Onion. Remember the parody site or satire site, The Onion, predicting the withdrawal of the U.S. troops from Afghanistan in 2011. So there you go.
Interesting. Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths.
This is the way.
No one's saying that. No one's saying that. No poll says that.
I had a bad night. Where are you?
$1.9 trillion in relief so far.
We will hunt you down and make you pay.
This is the United States of America, for God's sake.
Toilets!
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people too.
We're all gonna die.
This is not about freedom or personal choice. Give me a break.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Bye!
death for me. My feet were almost gone. My steps had well nigh slipped. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. But there are no bands in their death, but their strength is found. They are not in trouble as other men, neither they play like other men. Therefore pride compasseth them about the chain. Violence covers them as a garment. Their eyes stand out with fatness. Their moon heart could wish. They set the mouth against the heavens, and the tongue walketh through the earth. Verily I have cleansed my heart in vain, and washed my hands in innocency. When I thought to know this, it was too painful for me. Until I went into the sanctuary of God and understood therein. Right in heaven but thee, and there is none upon the earth that I desire beside thee. My flesh and my heart failing, but God is the strength of my heart. And my portion
Value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
Canary, cry, support.